Hey there, hope you're excited because I am very much. Welcome to this really long video where we are going to work with building a full stack AI agent application. Now I know you are super excited because I am also equally excited to build the AI agents, and not just any AI agents, full stack AI agents. A lot of people believe that AI agents can just run standalone on their own, but that is far from the reality and far from the production. In any kind of production setting, you definitely can utilize AI agents, but you need some of the groundwork needs to be done. Without having the groundwork, without having some substantial ground, your AI agents cannot do much. You can build toy application, but in order to have something really needs to be done, you need a full stack application. And this is exactly I will walk you through. In this entire full stack application, I'll walk you through how we will have a user. We will store that user in a real database. We will set this up into production as well. Apart from this, we will have a smart ticketing system. We will create our own tickets, and these tickets and everything, even some of the parts of the user and user registration in our database will be done by the agents and the background workers as well. Now, once the user submits a ticket, don't worry, I'll walk you through with the example as well. So once a user submits a ticket, this ticket goes through via an AI agent into the Gemini. Now feel free to use any other LLM models. I just happen to use Gemini because it's really powerful, big context window, and the most important part, it's absolutely free. You can absolutely, within just few lines of code, can replace it with OpenAI, Anthropic, or whatever you like. So this agent takes the ticket, goes to Gemini, and then try to get more information, more context out of this information. Once this information is available to us, it gets back to us and we store all of this in our database. Yeah, if this sounds interesting, this is interesting. This is where you learn a lot about the background workers, because this doesn't need to happen when user is watching it. This needs to happen behind the scene. User just needs to see a really fast application that is deployed. Now, once the user agent gets all of this, we will learn how the background tasks are being done, as well as we are going to learn about the AI agents, and we'll see a framework which actually makes our life all easy and is free. So everything that we're going to do in this entire application is totally free. Let me walk you through with the application now, and we'll see some of the behind the scenes as well, and then we'll start working with that. So let me take you onto the screen. And by the way, in case you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. I am very close to hitting 1 million subscribers. I really want to do this now quickly, but again, I will keep on making the videos regardless of when we hit the million. That's not actually the goal. My goal is to make your life super easy and build a lot of application, including the AI ones. So hit that subscribe and please drop a comment section that you're enjoying these kinds of full stack application. So let me take you up here. So this is what we are going to do, and we are going to build the AI agent just like this. So we will learn about the automated workflow. We are also going to see role-based access in this application because, as I mentioned, this is not a toy application. We will also send the email notifications, and this is where we are going to use background workers, and everything is AI powered. For this entire application, we are going to use Agent Kit, which is an agent framework or a framework to build AI agent by the inngest. We're going to take, this is actually super good. And it supports OpenAI, Anthropic, and Gemini, and all OpenAI compatible models. This is where I love this part. And it integrates with your favorite AI libraries and product, B2B, browser-based. You can just do pretty much everything. And this is exactly how we are going to work through. So I think we can just take a look on this diagram itself. So this diagram, as you can see, we're going to work something like this. We will have our routers. I will walk you through with this. Now you can just go ahead and build agents. We will build 2 agents for this one. So just like here, we can see 3 agents, and based on the tools, they can actually directly reply or can use some of the AI model. Our AI model happens to be Gemini. I will draw much better diagrams for our use case, but this is how we are going to work through again. And apart from this, we'll be using inngest, which is our main hero of this entire application. And again, the best part is their pricing, so you don't have to worry. We'll be using just the free tier, which has 50,000 free runs, 5 concurrent steps. We will just have 2, 3, and we have a lot of things. So you don't need to worry on that part. It's totally free, available for free, all of this. So we'll be using AI and the backend workflows. These are the 2 important things that they mention on their website, that, hey, we support AI and we also helps you to enable the backend workflow. So we'll go with that. Now I know you're super excited. And by the way, we'll use Gemini, but not the Gemini like this. We will be using the APIs of it. And I will walk you through how you can build or create an account and have the API. It's super simple process. Just create an account on aistudio.google.com and have an API key. Just click on this get API. That is all it takes. So here is our application. It looks really simple, but I will walk you through what happens behind the scene in this application, and you'll be super happy that you actually watched this video, and I highly recommend to code along with me. There is one issue with me. Sometimes I get super excited and want to jump right into the code part or explanation part, and because of them, sometimes I don't give the proper demo of what I have already built as an application or what we are about to build together. I'll not do this mistake again. I will give you a full walkthrough of how application looks like. I'm not a guy who usually pays huge amount of attention on just the landing page. Oh, this looks nice. This is super shiny. I don't do that. I usually prefer functionality because I think that part you can do, and especially with the help of amazing libraries like Magic UI, Authentication UI, and others, hundreds of others, you can build pretty good landing pages. In this video or this segment, I will show you what we are about to build and where the AI feature of application works on. So ta-da, welcome to this part here where we are going to see that what this application looks like. Don't worry, I'll give you the full start to end walkthrough as well. First of all, let's see that what happens behind the scene in this application. So we can see we have this create ticket. I have this ticket description. I can submit ticket. Anybody can submit a ticket. And we have this one ticket already up here. Notice here, this account is the admin account, so I can see all the things. First of all, the first user that we have is admin. This is me. I've logged in with 1@gmail.com. We have another user, which is 2@gmail.com. The role is moderator. You can see it here. We have role-based access. This user skill is React and full stack. And we have 3@gmail.com, which is also a moderator. And this has a skill of Python and machine learning. We have a fourth user, which has the user of role itself. Now I can just click on edit on any one of them. I can change it from moderator to user to admin, whatever I wish. And here I can actually add the skills. So for example, React skills are here. I also want to add Express as a skill, and I can just save this and the skills will be added to the user. The goal is pretty simple. We will have one admin and we can have as many moderator as you wish. The moderator, the job of moderator is simply to answer the questions or address whatever the problem user is having. So this is the first part of it. Now let me show you the interesting part. If I click on any existing ticket, you're going to see, first of all, the status is in progress. Whenever the ticket is created, the status is to do, but through the AI, we change the status in progress. We set the priority on this, again, based on AI. And we also track the related skills, again, tracked by AI. And notice here the helpful notes. These notes are generated by AI, that what kind of problem could be there, how can the solution be there, how you can approach the solution, and how can you provide a better solution for it. And this is assigned to 2@gmail.com. Why? Because this includes JavaScript and React. And if you just see to all the users, this 2 is actually for the React and JavaScript skills. The 3 is automatically for the skills of Python and machine learning. So AI will automatically find out that which is the moderator which best suits for this particular problem set or this particular ticket, and will assign it to the user. That's the power of AI and pipelines that we are going through. Let me go ahead and copy this. So we'll just copy this and I will walk you through with the start of it. So we'll log in into incognito mode. We have the login and sign up. So feel free to use the sign up as well. I'll log in. And I will log in it with the 4@gmail.com, which is a regular user. Feel free to create any new user, no problem there. So we'll just add this one, we'll log in. And we can see I already created a ticket, but this time something interesting. Let's go up here. I will create a ticket and I will say, I need help in Python. And I will say, I am trying to run this machine learning project. Can someone help me in fixing my bug or fixing my bugs, and help me to put this application in production. Pretty decent, not too much information, not too less information. And if I submit this ticket, You will notice that the ticket is created, and here I can see this is in the to-do. And if I go back onto this tickets, this is in progress. So let's go ahead and see what happens. This is now automatically in progress. I didn't do anything. AI did the thing. So let me just move this up here and go back onto this and come back here. So there we go. We can see I need help in Python. So automatically this ticket went to AI, and click up here and notice here all of this information is filled up with the AI. AI automatically turned this into in progress because this is now assigned to, look at this, 3@gmail.com. So whoever the moderator which suits best for this particular job based on the skills, we can actually assign this automatically. No round robin, nothing like that. And notice here the helpful notes that we received. The user needs the help in debugging and production deployment of a machine learning project in Python. This requires a detailed understanding of project code, its expected functionality, and the target production environment. A moderator should guide the user on debugging technique, code review, and deployment strategies. Useful resources include Python debugging tool, common machine learning deployment frameworks like TensorFlow, Serving, or Docker containers, cloud platform deployment. Consider providing examples of deploying similar project or directing the user for relevant documentaries. Pretty good, pretty good. And again, the exact same thing. This is all done through the AI. We are using Gemini for this one. So I hope this time I gave you a much better and in-depth demo that what our application does. And not only that, this application actually goes through with multiple of the pipelines that we are going to learn. This is exactly how the agentic AI workflow works. Oh, this time I did a better job. So let's move on to the next section now. So this is how the flow of the application works. So this is where the user tries to sign up. We have a sign up. Now in the sign up process, we know that we actually goes ahead and sends a confirmation email that, hey, congratulations on sign up. So a mail activity needs to be triggered. Now most of the time this mail activity goes into the sign up controller as well, but we don't want to do this because mail servers sometimes are busy or may take more time. So what we're going to learn here is we are going to design a simple background workers. Workers. This is almost like queues. In case you have used SQS or any other queue system, this is almost like that. So we will just detach this mailing system from the sign up into the background worker. So as soon as the user signs up, we will store that information in our database, but the mailing process goes through this background worker. Whenever the background workers are free or the mail server is free, it's his job. Our sign up mechanism is all free. So it will just report us back that, hey, we have done this. Now, similarly, we will have a ticketing system as well. So as soon as this ticket is being created, so let's just say this ticket is created, ticket created. As soon as you have this task being done, we are going to go ahead and create an AI agent. So let's just go ahead and work with this. So the way how it works is we go ahead and create an AI agent. This agent further goes to any of your LLM model. Now, in this case, the LLM that we are using happens to be Gemini, but it can be any other as well. So imagine so much of work is being done. Your ticket is being created. Immediately an AI agent is being informed. This AI agent takes you to the LLM, and this further LLM generates a metadata, which is quite long. And one of the reasons that I'm using Gemini for this is because the context window is pretty insane with Gemini and it's dirt cheap. So this LLM is going to go ahead and generate the metadata. This metadata is given to the AI agent again. And this AI agent further goes on to the MongoDB. Yes, we are going to be using Mongo, but feel free to change this to any database. MongoDB. And this AI agent will automatically just place everything in our database. And this will all happen behind the scene, or rather I would say background information. So imagine this is how the real world application works. The ticket is being created, user just gets the message, all right, ticket has been created. But this whole work can be done behind the scene. Now, if the work is too much, like in our case, it's a very small task that we are giving to Gemini and the speed is insane, but your task could be much, much bigger than this. Maybe you're processing images, maybe you're processing videos. So in that case, this kind of a workflow is required because this AI agent is not dependent on how fast the LLM is giving the response or the data back to it. It will be running in the background itself. And that's why I say these kinds of things like AI agent, this is how professionally applications are being done. And not only that, you can actually orchestrate your AI agents. Those who don't know what orchestration is, it means I need to monitor that which things are going wrong, which are being failed so that I can work on it and more such details. So this is how we are going to work with that. All right, I hope you are excited because I am very much. Now let me walk you through with the tech stack that we are going to work through. So for this entire application, for the backend, we will be using Express.js, and you will learn that how you don't need to just use some groundbreaking, fresh out of the box, not being thoroughly tested framework. You can use your existing frameworks, whether that's Express, Fast API, Fast.js, whatever you're using, you can just work with that. For the database, we happen to choose MongoDB. If you request in the comment section, I can just walk you through the exact same thing in Postgres as well, using Prisma, Drizzle, whatever you like, because the application remains exactly same. For the authentication, we are using the classic JWT mechanism. We are not using any third party for this one, so that you can see the process is regular. For the background jobs, we are using inngest, which is the hero of this application. For the email system, we are using NodeMailer with the mail trap. This mail trap thing can be easily replaced with SendGrid or AWS, whatever you want to have. Mailtrap just allows me to quickly test the mail, and whatever the mail we are shooting and receiving, it just gives a one inbox so that I can see. It's very popular for testing in the production. And for the AI, we are using Gemini, but again, this can be used for, it can be replaced with any LLMs. All right, so the system uses AI for Gemini for determining the skills. That's the part one. So first of all, we are going to determine what kind of skills are required to solve this ticket. Then we are going to go ahead and categorize the ticket based on the skills. So we will have an array of skills and it will go with that. It also sets the priority. It also generates the helpful notes to solve these tickets. And you will notice that we have to craft this AI response in such a way that we are able to extract all of this information. Your information could be more than this, could be less than this, but this is a general helpful ground where you can move forward or backwards. So we will have so much of information coming up. We will also go ahead and work on the event-driven architecture in this application via the ingest. Because as we have seen just up here, that a lot of things need to notify you back that, hey, mail was delivered, or hey, the agent has replied successfully, and that needs to be stored in the database. So this all will be based on the event, not just user has to wait. So user will not wait here. It will not keep on looping the spinner, all of this. We will have the AI powered decision maker. We will automate everything. We will have the role based access, and we will have the email notifications as well. So I hope you are pretty excited with building this. And by the way, we will build the front end part of it. Front end is pretty basic. I haven't gone much into this part of it. Like here in the admin, I can just see all this admin panel. I can manage the users. I can edit their skills. So maybe I can edit the skills like React, Angular, whatever wish. I will give you a complete walkthrough of this as we go through. We have multiple users. I can make any users as moderator or user, whatever you like. We have the whole information. For the UI part, I haven't done much of the work. I'm just using the hero UI and classic vite as on the front end to make this a full stack application. But this can be easily replaced by your favorite framework, whether that's Next.js or anything else. So, all right, I hope you are super excited for this application because I am very much excited to show you what it looks like to build a production grade AI agent powered full stack application. This will be a game changer for your skills. So just drop a comment in the comment section that, hey, this will be helpful for us, and I will be super excited to teach more such things. That is it. Now let's go ahead and get started. From the next section, we will just do a fresh installation of the backend first. Yes, we are building the backend first. All right, so welcome to this video where we are going to start the backend part of this application. And yes, this is super exciting application. I'm super pumped up for it. And this is one of the best tutorial that you are going to ever see on building a full stack AI agent. You will understand every bit of it and you will understand the full flow, logic, everything. I'm super excited. Let me take you onto the screen first. So this is where our VS Code is, and this is a full stack. I will push the whole thing on my GitHub repo as well. Please give it a star as well. And let's start by creating a backend first, and we'll create a front end after this one. So let's call this one as AI ticket assistant. And feel free to call it anything else. AI ticket assistant is something that makes sense for us. I will go ahead and open this up, and the first thing that I'll do is let's actually initialize a project here first. So open it integrated terminal, And you really know the basic part, npm init. We'll just go with the -y so that it just creates this. We have a package.json file. The first thing that I'll do here is I'll just go ahead and say we will have the type of module, because we want to obviously use module for this one. We'll come back and change a little bit more up here in some minutes. The next thing that I want to do is create two files. The first one will be .env, where we'll keep our all environment variable. I'll not share this file with you. So I will create one more with you, which will be .env.sample. In this env sample, I'll write all the samples which I really want to share, but I'll not show you my environment variable file for obvious reasons. So first one is going to be Mongo underscore URI. Feel free to get a local URI, or if you want to get from the Atlas, I'll show you that part as well. It's super easy. Just a database URL is required. After that, we'll be needing JWT secret because we are using JWT. So that's obvious part. We will require some of the URLs or some of the values for sending the mails as well, a Gemini key and app URL as well. So let's go ahead and add one by one. First of all will be app URL. This is where our front end will require this. So we'll just give this URL that, hey, where this app or this backend is actually running. So that's the easy part. And for this one, we'll just go with http://localhost:3000. This is where my URL is going on. But again, we can just go ahead and change it later on as well. We will need the Gemini key as well. So I'll call this one as Gemini underscore API underscore key. I will show you how you can just generate a simple Gemini key. That's super easy part. We will need a couple of mail traps URL as well. So we'll just go ahead and have, I guess, 4 of them, 2, 3, and 4. And actually all of them starts with mail trap. And then we will have SMTP. And after that, the value changes. So the first one is going to be host. The second one is going to be port. I will show you how to grab this. This is nothing that you have to worry on. User, and this will be my password. We'll just keep as of now them just like this, and we'll fill up these values in a minute. So I'll just go ahead and copy this. We'll paste it in my environment variable as well so that I see all of the data coming up here. Secret that we can fill up with chai code, no problem there. This mail trap part, I will walk you through with this. This is actually super easy to grab. So I'll just go ahead and sign up on the mail trap. I already have an account. It's totally free. Go ahead and grab it. I have this. You will get a one sandbox to test this. I call this free API because I created it last time freshly when I was creating my open source project. You can just click up here and you'll see the SMTP details here. So this is all the details that we have filled. The host, port, username, password. Yeah, this much all we need. So just copy this up here, go back here in the environment variable. This is your host. Just copy up here. This is your port. This is my username. Paste it up here. I'll not paste password in front of you. That's the first point. All right. For the Gemini, all you got to do is sign up on the aistudio.google.com. I'll actually copy this and open up in incognito. Definitely don't want to go with the usage. Oops. Don't want to go for the usage. I just want to show you AI Studio. So this is the AI Studio. All you do is just sign in with the Google account. I'm pretty sure if you're watching this on YouTube, you do have a Google account. Just sign up this and that's it. And we will get all of this. Even they give you some of the example for all of this. Nothing, it's just a very simple. For the first time, Google has made it super easy. Now after that, just click on the Get API key. And you can see I already have this API key, but if you want to create a fresh, you can just go ahead and click on the Create New API key. And then it will say that, hey, search on the project or create an API key in the existing project. So I can just click on this search and get this or just with that. Can I show you it a fresh one? Because a lot of people sometimes get worried about how will I do it? No worries, I'll show you the fresh one. I'll create this, select a project for this one. I'll just say Gemini API, or it will, for the first time, if you're creating this, it will give you the idea of just create a fresh project. I'll just click on this and then I will just say create API key in existing project. Gemini API is the name of this. And then I can just simply go ahead and copy this and paste it. By the time you'll be seeing it, I have actually changed this. So no worries on that part. I will do this behind the scene. I will not show you all the keys for safety reasons. All right, so this is the basic part of it, and that is it. Go ahead and fill these details. So that's the part one of this. All right, so this is what we have. Now let's go ahead and see that what we are going to need for building this application. The first thing that we are going to need, I'll just go ahead and install this. So npm install -d for a dev dependency, and we will have the node mon. This makes sure that my server is all the time up and running. I don't have to stop the server, start it again. And as you can see, this gets installed in my dev dependency. Now taking you on to this part, let's go ahead and see what else we are going to need for this one. So the first thing we are going to need is bcrypt. You might be wondering, why Hitesh, why do you need bcrypt? Bcrypt is responsible for encrypting your password. Now encrypting is not a correct word, it would be rather hashing your password. Encryption can be decrypted, but hashing cannot be converted back, so we'll need bcrypt for this. This is password utility. You'll see this in almost all projects. We also need CORS, which helps you to make sure that your front end can actually talk to your backend and sees no CORS error in the browser itself, so we'll use this utility as well. Apart from this, we're going to need .env to load our environment variable. Pretty basic. You'll see this in almost all the application. The .env file, yes, for that. We will be needing Express because all the routing, Express is a routing library in JavaScript. In the Node ecosystem, we'll be using this one. And we are using MongoDB. So the most famous one is Mongoose. That's ORM for making our life easier to talk to MongoDB. We will be needing node mailer as well to send the mail. Yes, we'll be using ingest for this one, but that will help us just processing. So this is our core foundation that we'll be using. If there is anything else, yes, I forgot one, which is JSON Web Token. So we'll be working everything on the token base. So JSON Web Token is the one. If I'll remember anything else, that is it. Now for the AI part that we're going to use is, first of all, we can just go ahead and say ingest / agent kit. You might be wondering, hey Tesh, how did you know about this, that we have to put @ ingest and agent kit? Yes, good question. You can just simply go onto their agent kit and click on the getting started. And this is where they actually mention this npm install @ ingest agent kit. Yeah, no magic. I just happened to remember this. Pretty easy to remember. All right. So apart from this, you'll also need the core ingest. So for this, you just go ahead and say, I need ingest. That is it. So this whole thing is our AI part. So this is our AI agent part. This is all that is required for this one. And the rest is the core backend. Core backend. So just go for this. And this is our core backend part. All right. NodeMon is just a dev dependencies. So this is how everything looks like. All right. Hope you got this idea. Let's go ahead and install all of them. So we're going to go ahead and say npm install. We need bcrypt. By the way, you can use bcrypt.js as well. bcrypt.js, whatever makes you more comfortable, feel free to use that. We'll need CORS. We'll need .env. We'll need Express Mongoose. Express Mongoose. Node mailer. And we need JSON Web Token. What else we need? I guess all done for at least the development part. Let's go ahead and help it to install. All right, and we'll see npm install ingest. That's the core one. And we'll need the last one. Let's grab this one. So we just need to say, hey, copy this. And taking a little time. Probably my internet is not that great. Anyways, we'll just keep it all in the real time. All right. So in the meantime, it's getting all right. So no worries, just deprecation. It keeps on happening. Nothing to be worried. And then we need the agent kit part of it. That should be fairly small. So all right. Hopefully we have ingest. So I guess you get the idea of how the dependencies works and what the role they play. Again, repeating that, bcrypt is for hashing your password, course, so that we don't get the errors because our front end is on different URL, backend is on different URL. .env to load the environment variable. Express is a routing library or a backend routing a lot of things it can do. Mongoose is an ORM for MongoDB node mailer for sending the mails in an easier way, and JSON Web Token. This is the AI part of it. We'll learn how to use them, but this is all what we need. All right, life looks fairly easy, and now let's go ahead and work on other things. Now we will, usually the expectation is you'll create an index file and go ahead and change this one as dev to nodemon index. All right, that is okay. That's usually is done. But where I want to focus my attention first is to bring the models, because this is how I will define my data structure. So let's create a new folder, call this one as models, and inside the models we will have two files. The first one being a user. In most of my application I call this as user.model.js. That just for explanation, I'll just not do this in this one. So user.js. As well as we are building a ticketing system, so we'll call this one as ticket.js for ticketing system. First, let's define the user part of it. I'll shut up my AI, otherwise it will bother us. The way how we do it is pretty standard and pretty simple. We're going to go ahead and say we want mongoose from mongoose. That's the part one of it. And then we simply go ahead and create a user schema. And this user schema will be created by new mongoose.schema. This is a method which requires an object to be passed on, and then we simply say export default mongoose dot model, and the model that we want to export is user. The schema that it will be using is user schema. And the best part is I can just go ahead and copy this, paste it in the tickets, and call this one as ticket schema, and copy this ticket schema and paste it up here. This one will be ticket. That is it. So we've defined our two models. Now let's add some values inside this. Now the schema, I have already done a lot of videos on Udemy as well. Feel free to define the schema however you like. We'll just go with the basic one. So we'll have the email. This email will be of type string, if I can write that, string, required, that will be true, and we will have a unique as well, so that all the emails are automatically unique. This is nothing we are doing. Mongoose will take care of all of this. We will have the password as well, which will be of type string. What's happening? And required to be true. That is it. And we will have the role. This is the how we are defining the role as a role-based access. So we will have simply type, which will be string, and we will say default. The role of every user will be user. We need to upgrade the first admin as by going into the database itself. But the values are going to be coming up from the enum. Enum is just an array which has multiple things. For example, it will have the user. We will have another one which is moderator. And we will have admin. There we go. Basic role-based access. We will also have skills. The skills is going to be an array of string. So multiple skills can be passed on, like React, full stack, whatever you like, you can just go ahead and pass on. We will also have a created at field. Although we can implement the timestamps, fully aware of it, feel free to go ahead and add this. We'll just go ahead and simply say created at, which will be of type. Let's go with the date. And let's also add a default value for this one, which will be date.now. Date.now. So there we go. Pretty basic schema we have defined pretty quickly. It didn't took much of the time. That's your user. Now next up is how we define the ticket. And again, the fields are there. Feel free to add whatever you wish to have. Obviously, we have two fields are required. Title is going to be a string. Come on. And then we can have the description. That's again going to be a string. We will have a status. Should be all lowercase. Status. And depends on how you work with that. We want to provide a default status as well. So we'll just go use this syntax. Type will be string, not strung. Why am I writing strung again and again? Probably some keyboard is misplaced. Default is going to be to do. We can define more enums here, but now that you know the concept, I guess you can also do this. We'll have a field created by, which will link it up to our another model, or in this case, another document. So created by, this is going to be created for this. The type always remains the same, which is mongoose dot schema dot types dot object ID. Then you have to provide what reference we are taking up. We are taking a reference of user. So make sure you always pass on whatever you're calling your model. So in this case, we are calling it as user. So we are passing a user here. Pretty 101 basic. All right. And then we will assign this to some user as well. So assigned to, this ticket will be assigned to somebody. So we'll just go ahead and call this one as type. Same mongoose dot schema dot types dot object ID. Basic, no big deal. We have to provide a reference to this one, ref, and we will say user. And by default, if you want to assign it to somebody, you can just assign to a default user, but that's not a good idea. In this case, we'll ask AI to actually assign this. So for the default, we'll go with the null. Again, depends on how you're working with this. All right, let's add few more fields which will be filled up by the AI, so no worries on our part. Priority, and that will be a simple string. There we go. And then we have a deadline for this one as well, lowercase deadline. We can assign the deadline on our own or can ask even AI for doing this. So deadline will be a date. Do we have helpful notes? Sure, we wouldn't. This is the main part. I love this. Helpful notes. This is a string. Don't do this. Helpful notes. Okay, what else you want to have? Related skills. So this will be an array of strings just like this. There we go. And at the very end, we'll just go ahead and have one more field created at. Again, we can have a timestamp and which will give us updated at and created at both, but that's for you. I will just go ahead and say type is going to be date and the default is going to be date.now. Date.now. All right. So there we go. We have defined our model and we have added some values to it. That's the basic part of it, how this can be done. Now, the next thing that you want to do or probably want to do is create a basic index file so that we can at least connect the database and do all these things and build at least an Express app. We will add more things later on, but at least let's go ahead and create a classic database connection. We will not go too much in the database connection. I walked you through quite in depth in my Udemy course as well, that how complex that file can be based on each response that database is giving to you, lots of retries and all of that. As of now, I think it makes sense to have just a new file, call this one as index.js and create a basic Express application. So we're going to go ahead and say import Express from Express. And then we can just go ahead and say const app is going to be Express, just like this. And we can have mongoose as well. Import mongoose from mongoose. So that now our app is ready. Probably we can use the .env and course as well, because that needs to be there. So course from course actually acts as a middleware. So all you have to do is app.use and simply have to say course. There we go. And just run it just like that. You can add more features and functionality onto this one, but that's okay for us. App.use, and the most common one is now express.json so that we can accept the JSON data. I hope that's not too fast because this is something that we have done probably like so many times. Let's go ahead and connect the mongoose in this one. And that is it. We can actually listen to the app within the mongoose. If the mongoose is successful, we will listen. Otherwise, we'll not listen. Depends on how you want to craft your application. In this one, let's just go ahead and say, hey, mongoose, I want to just go ahead and connect with a database. And the connection will happen from process.env. We have to copy this. Thank goodness I haven't filled the values yet. So copy this and paste this. So it will get this. Come on, move on to the next line. I want it to be on next line. If this gets connected, then we're going to follow a simple then, or we will follow a dot catch, just like this. If anything goes wrong, we can just catch this error and we can say console.log or console.error to be a little bit fancy. And we will say MongoDB error. And we can display the error as well. You can use backticks as well if you wish. In the then part, if everything goes right, we can fire up a callback. The first thing I want to do is simply console.log and say MongoDB connected, and probably can use some of the, come on, you were giving me this. There we go. Yeah, this will look good. And then on top of that, if everything goes good, we can actually now listen to any of the port. Usually the port should also go into the environment variable. Otherwise, how we'll deploy this? So let's go ahead and create it up here. So const port, either we are going to get a port from process.env.port, or we're going to use 3000. In this case, we'll use 3000. So let's go ahead and listen on to port variable. Oh, no, not like that. Is it not available to us? Oh, it's all uppercase. My bad. We'll listen to the port. And if we are listening to the port, we can again fire. This is a callback hell, but not that bad. We can simply go like this and say console.log. And in this one, we can say server at http:// and we'll say localhost. We can add backticks and use ports, but you get the idea. This is pretty basic. We'll also add and we'll use this one here, and we can actually use MongoDB error. I love to have them. At least makes my developer life a little easier. We are expected to have an error on this one, but that's okay. Now let's just go ahead and set this up in the package.json at least. This one will be dev. We will have one more command because ingest also needs to run. But we'll talk about the ingest in a minute. So we'll just go ahead and say, hey, nodemon, please run index.js. Let's run this, and we are expecting it to fail. That's a good thing. npm run dev, and there we go. Oh, we saw this one. Was expecting this one. Mongoose, the URI parameter must be a string get undefined. So we know the drill. We just need to add an environment variable. I'll do that in the next video. I'll set up this part and the key part as well, but you got the idea that how this needs to be done. So at least, oops, Control C, not Control X. We got the idea. Pretty good stuff. A great start. We have designed our models. We have designed our environment variables. We have designed our index.js as well. All the dependencies are installed. And the next one, we can just start writing the controller for the user itself and walk you through with the functionality of it. Let's go ahead and move on to the next section now. All right, so let's move on to the next part of building this application. This is where we actually, for the first time, see the use case of ingest, as well as we'll see how the background workers of inject works. Now, this is a pretty straightforward process. You just keep on working whatever you're doing in your controller, and whenever there is a task, certain task which might take more time, maybe the mail servers are busy, or there is already so much going on in the mail queue and you want to process them line by line. So for these things, these background workers are really awesome to work on with. And in fact, any scalable application, they truly use the background workers. So let me walk you through first with the diagram that what we are about to do, and then it will be much easier to actually understand this. So the steps are pretty simple. First of all, let's just say we want to register a user. So let's just go ahead and register a user. In our case, it will be in MongoDB. So that is fine. That's our first step that we're going through. Now, during the process, we want to send a success email. So let's go for success email. Now, this success email depends on a couple of things. First of all, that if we are actually sending this as a success email, then the most important task is a user should be in our database. There might be cases where things might not go as we planned. There is some crash in the database. We don't want it, but it sometimes happen. In that case, we don't want user to proceed with. So user should be in the database. And both of them should be a separate activity. So we want to register a user in a separate controller, and sending the success email should be a separate activity. Now, this activity can be done by AWS or any other, so it doesn't really bother the queue system in that. So first of all, let's see that since this is a totally separate activity, first let's worry on that part. It's a pretty simple one. Let's create a new folder, and feel free to call it as whatever you want to call this one as of now. You can just go ahead and call this as utilities, libraries, whatever makes sense to you. In our case, I'll just call this one as utils, but again, libs is also fine. So let's call this one as libs, utils. And we'll be sending a mail. So let's call this one as mailer.js, of course. So how do we send mail? We most of the time send mails with the help of Node Mailer, which comes from the utility that we installed, Node Mailer. But I don't know how to send the email. So I'll just go ahead and Google it out, which will be Node Mailer. Let's go there. Open this up. Oh, light mode. Don't want that. And we'll just go up here, and this is the whole Node Mailer. So we will not use the required syntax. We are using the import syntax, but this is all that we need, whole of the transporter and everything. So instead of using it just like this, we want to simply use this create email. Let's call it as method, and then we will export this method, which will require some of the parameters. For example, this to, this subject or text or whatever we want to go. So we will use exact same information, but we'll craft this in our own method. So sounds super easy. We will export this, and again, don't want it to do like that. Come on, I can do better than this. So we'll just go ahead and call this one as send mail, and this will be an async, obviously, because mails do take time, probably much more than the database interaction. This will expect that you will pass me a to, you will pass me a subject, whoever is using this method, and you'll pass me the text. Why these three parameters? Good question. Because these are the parameters that I can reuse this function. As soon as the to is being changed, I can send this email to whoever I like. As soon as the subject is changed, the same method can be used, and the text, whatever you want to send in the plain text. It also supports HTML in case you want to accept that as a parameter. That's also pretty good. Go ahead and do that. I won't be doing that. And then we simply run a simple try catch. In the try part, we are going to create a transport. So this is the first part where we create the transport. Let's just go ahead and copy this and replace the things. So there we go. So we created a transport. This will all remain same, but this will change. So we are going to go ahead and change this one. This will come from process.env. This one was mail trap something. I haven't still added, so don't worry on that part. Mail trap host, copy this and paste that. And port and everything will also go like this. So I'll just go ahead and copy this. Port will be there. The user will also come from there, and the password will obviously be coming from there. So this one is port. This one is user. And this one is pass for password. Oops, don't want to do that. There we go. So all of the values are now coming up from our environment variable. We'll just keep it as it is. You can remove the secure false, which is true for most of the other ports. In this case, we can keep it as it is, but as soon as you move it to the production, make sure you remove this. By default, it is true, so you don't have to worry. The next part is we simply create this info part. Our method is already async, so don't need to worry on that part. We can just go ahead and grab this part. We'll also grab this one. Copy this, and once we are done with creating the transporter, just up here, I want to create this. All right. So this is going to be from. So instead of doing it like this, we will go ahead and say ingest TMS, whatever you want to call, transport mail service or whatever. We can just go ahead and call it as no reply from ingest, whatever you like. I'll just keep it as it is. No worries on that part. The to will be to itself, so I don't need to say it anything. I can just keep it like this because the variable name is exactly same. The subject can also be exactly same, and the text can also be exactly same because we are taking the parameter just like that. I don't think this is required now. HTML we are not supporting as of now, but later on you can just add the value. It's just a variable that you can simply put this. All right, this console log looks good. Mail sent, info.message ID looks good because whatever the info we are getting, we'll get the message out of it. In the error part, and actually we don't want to console log just it, we would like to return this info as well. Maybe somebody wants to do something with it, so that's a good idea. In the error part, we're going to go ahead and say console.error. We will use it like this. And this is an error. So mail error, come on, mail error, error dot message. Pretty cool. And at the end we want to throw this error, so we know this, so we'll just go ahead and say throw error. That's it. All right, so our utility is now defined. So coming back onto the diagram, so this success email or whatever the email is, our email utility is now done. So email function is ready. Now this function, as of now, we have this function in the Express or in our server itself, but it could be a Next.js function, it could be a cloud function, edge function, doesn't really matter. As you can see on their website as well, if you scroll it a little bit, they actually mention this somewhere that you can actually keep anything wherever you like. Here it is. Runs on serverless, servers, or both. Wherever you want to like, deploy the ingest function onto your existing platform or infra. Ingest securely invokes your job wherever the code runs. So this is what we are utilizing. We are keeping the function on our own server and we want to utilize this. This is exactly what we are going through. All right, this looks all good so far. Now, how do we work with the ingest part? That is interesting. Let's go ahead and work with that. I'll create a new folder for ingest. It's easier to call it as ingest. And we will have one folder and one file into it. First of all, let's go with the file itself. This will be a simple client.js, which will invoke our ingest. And we will have different kind of functions into it. So let's create a folder and keep all of our functions inside it. Surely you can call it whatever you like. Now, first of all, let's see the client code. The client code, as mentioned inside the ingest docs as well, but I'll directly give it to you directly up here. It's super easy, nothing to worry. The first part is ingest actually gives you a lot of things from this. And as you can see, if I come back here, option, we can see event schemas, Gemini AI adapters, and ingest, common handler functions, middlewares, proxy logger. It has a lot of them. What we want is directly the ingest, which is a client used to interact with the ingest API by sending the reacting to events. So what we want to go with this, let me give you the diagram. See, this is our ingest. This is our ingest. Now the job of the ingest, as we saw in the diagrams, is it's to receive a lot of events. This is an event-based architecture. So somebody needs to notify that, hey, this event has been triggered. As soon as this is notified to this, based on the type of event, this can be shrinked. Based on the type of event, from the ingest itself, we can actually call any function. There could be hundreds of functions, not just one. So this is one function, this is one, and this is another one. There could be variety of activities or variety of functions that can go like this. One of such function is actually the mail function that we have just designed. So this is the mail function that we have designed, and through the ingest, we are going to go ahead and call this one. That is it. All right, so let's design the rest of the part. So we're going to go ahead and use ingest. There we go. And in this example, we'll just create an instance of it or a client of it, and we'll just export it. So we'll just call it as ingest. This will be coming up from ingest, just like this. And actually, it will be an instance, so new ingest. And here, only thing we have to pass on is the client ID. Now, you can actually design them by a variety of methods, but in this case, because you might be using ingest for a variety of products, this is a ticketing system that we are designing. So for all the function that we are putting up in here, we are going to call this one as ticketing system. But feel free to call it whatever you like. The name here doesn't really matter. Your ingest will keep all of the collection of your functions all together under this banner or under this name. So that's what we do. And let's go ahead and export this so that we can utilize it wherever like. That's the part one. All right, so this is part one. Now inside the function, we will have many more of such things. But first of all, let's just say what happens on sign up. I'll name this one as well, exactly as on sign up. On sign up.js. File name doesn't really matter. Feel free to call your function whatever you like. And what we're going to do is export const on user sign up lowercase. And what we're going to do is we will bring up this ingest that we have brought in from the client. And as soon as you put up a dot, you can see there are so many methods. We can create the function right up here. We can event logs, function, ready, send, signals, and all of that. What we want to do is now create function. All right, that's the basics of it. As soon as you create the function, you have to provide couple of things or couple of parameters onto it. You have to send, first of all, the trigger. Then we have to send whatever is the event of it and a couple of more. I think I can find that in the docs. I'll try that. Found it. Let me just show you with the docs as well. So it's directly in the docs. If you go into the ingest functions and the function steps, so this is where we actually gone through. It's in TypeScript, Go, Python, wherever you want to like. We created this part and hold this thing inside a separate file itself, but it can be done here as well. Now, once this is being done, notice here we are simply going through with the exact same thing, ingest.create function. First of all, you have to give the ID of this exact function. You can name this whatever you like or provide whatever the ID you would like. Then you have to mark this as an event. This will be utilized that, hey, whenever we want to invoke this particular function, we have to trigger this event. And then whatever you want it to happen. So in this case, we are using the same email. So I'll just go ahead and copy this first. Come up here. ID is going to be activation email. We are going to call this one as a little bit different. On user sign up. And apart from this, you can also provide retries to it. Does it mention? Yep, here it is, retries. How many retries you want to do? In this case, I want to do just 2, but you can retry more if you want. In the event, this is where you mention that, hey, this is what I will call this one as an event, which will invoke this function. I will call this one as user/signup. Feel free to name it whatever you like. Is just a name, nothing else, nothing more. Then you simply go ahead and use a simple async, just like as they mentioned. This is a classic async and a function callback. Look at this and this. So no big deal. So we'll just go ahead and say this is async and it takes a parameter. We'll work on this one. There we go. As you can see in this async, we can see there is an event, but if you look at a little bit more, there are more things that you can provide, which is step, and step can actually run because maybe you don't want to run things just like this once. Maybe you want to verify with the database that how it goes. So if you look at the more documentation, you'll see you receive event and a step, and you can await for this step to run. So this is my first step, and as much as steps you want to go with this. So we'll just utilize this one. So we will call this one as event and we will have the step. And once we are here, we will invoke our try catch. I'm a big try catch guy. First of all, let's grab this one. So whoever is invoking the event, they can pass on some of the data as well. It's just a big object. We are going to go ahead and extract email out of it. Don't worry, I will show you the usage part as well. But right now, just assume through this event, you can pass on data to this particular event. And this data is a big object. It can get as many data as you want. We have received this email. Now through this, I want to run a step function to find the user in my database. I want to check it first. So let's just say that I will say await and then step.run. You can use this step.run as many times as you wish. This step is going to called as get user email. Now I have the email, but I just want to verify whether this is all correct or not. That is all what I'm doing. And here I can use async. This is the method. There we go. So I hope you see the syntax is pretty clear. You step run this, you name this whatever you like for your internal reference. So if something fails, you get the log of it. And then it's a simple async method. Do whatever you want to do inside this one. I want to bring in the user, which is coming up from the models. No suggestion. Are we exporting the model? Let's just go ahead and see. Yes, we are exporting this. So let's bring it up. It should be auto importing, but no worries. I'll import the user from one directory back, one more back. Inside the models, we have user .js. All right, this is good. Now, hopefully, once I have the user, I can just go ahead and say find one, working now. And I would love to find based on email. Now, if I was able to find this user, first of all, this is a database call. Wait, there we go. If I'm able to find that, I'll call this one as user object. There we go. All right. If there is no user object, then obviously it's a problem. If there is no user object, then I need to throw a special kind of error, by the way. Throw new, and this is non-retriable error. I don't want to retry it again. And notice here, this actually comes from ingest. Let's get a little separation. So this is a non-retriable error. This comes from ingest. So if you were not able to find the user, there is no point in trying to find or run this email invocation again and again. Just stop this. We'll put up a message as well that user no longer exists in our database. So user doesn't exist. Why should I run this? And if this is all good, then I would love to return the user object. Now, this is the beauty about these functions. Notice here, we got this one here. We can actually store this into a variable as well, this whole thing. Call this one as user. So we have got this user and we have run the step function and we have done this whole thing. We are returning the user object from the invocation of this method. Now let's go ahead and send an email as well. This is also going to be interesting. Remember, we have the user. So whenever a step runs, let me show you with the diagram, that's easier. So in case of ingest, you will have many of the steps. So you'll have a step 1, just like this. And you will have step 2, just like this. Now, each of the step works almost like promises. If you remember, in the promises, whatever you return from the step 1 goes into automatically to the step 2. Same happens here as well. The moment I have simply returned this user object will be passed on to the step 2. I can just go ahead and utilize this. All right, so how we gonna do this? Once this step is all done, so we have called this one as user step. Let's go ahead and call this one. We technically don't need to store this into a variable, but let's just say no harm in storing that into a variable. The next one we want to do is await step.run. I want to run another mechanism or another function. Let's call this one as send welcome email. Again, this is important so that you can see the errors if anything fails. Same async. Hope I wrote it correct. Yep. And arrow functions just like this. What do we want to do in this one? In this one, first of all, we want to craft the subject because our mailer requires you to pass on 2 subject and text. So here we are. And we simply say our subject is going to be, feel free to use more variables into this one. Welcome to the app. And we will have const message is going to be like this. So we'll say hi. And we would like to say a couple of /n would be good. And then we want to say thanks for signing in, or signing up, actually, not signing in. We are glad to have you. Pretty exciting. With an exclamation. Looks good. Now, once this is all done, you have created all these methods and everything. Let's just go ahead and use the method, which is send mail. We can import that utility again. And we have the user, and we'll just go ahead and call this one as email. And we're going to go ahead and call subject, and we'll have the message. All right, so finally user is being utilized. So we can see we are returning the user object. So we have the whole user thing is available to us. And through that user, we can extract email, password, don't want to extract password. So email, maybe username, whatever you're extracting, you just simply use that. So thank goodness we can also store this into a variable if we are returning something. Right now, we are not returning something. We are just performing an action. So this is okay. Now, let's just say we want to return something out of it. So this method, when finally exits, we are not, remember, this is where we were returning things. So we were able to capture this into the user. If you return something here at line number 20, you won't be able to capture this inside a variable which you declare for this one. The return that I'm doing here is once all of this is done and run. So I will return just a message that says success is true. So that whole of my pipeline that we have built is all done. Oh, now the error part. It's super easy. Console.error. And we are going to use, and we will say error running step error dot message. Their error stream is whole streamlined. And we are going to return a success, which will be false. So congratulations, you have finally learned how to write a pipeline. Notice here, the pipeline 1, the pipeline 2, and so on. You can keep on building the pipeline. See, my goal with these tutorials is not to just give you the mindlessly creating the projects and just follow along. You need to learn the engineering side of it. So if I show you how to build 2 segmented pipeline, you can build 20 segmented pipeline as well. And I'm pretty sure we are enjoying that part. So this is all it takes. I hope you got this part. Now we need to write controllers as well. So we'll just close everything. If anything goes wrong, we can just fix them. But this is the whole basics of it. Now let's go ahead and write the controllers. We will write them definitely in the next segment, but we'll be preparing for that. Controllers, and we will have one controller, which will be user.js. So let's at least import the stuff that we'll be needing. We'll be needing bcrypt. That will be coming up from bcrypt. We'll be needing JWT, JSON web token, and we'll be needing user as well. So let's just go ahead and import user from one directory back. Inside the models, we have user.js, don't want it to bother us. And we'll need ingest as well because we want to invoke the function here. Import, we need to ingest it like that. Ingest, oh, sadly no suggestion. One directory back inside, no idea. Here it is, ingest. And we have this client. All right. So the first one that we are going to go ahead and write a method is simply for the sign up. So at least let's design this. So export const sign up. This is going to be a sync. Again, I'm not using those wrapper functions so that you don't have to write try catch. We will write try catch. So request. Oops, don't do that. Request response, and there we go. All right, so this is it. So in the next segment, we are going to go ahead and write the controller, and similar way, exactly similar way, I will walk you through that how you can write the agents as well. Just like we have done the background task, the agents are also being done almost similar, but don't you worry, I will still give you a complete walkthrough of it. Let's move on to the next section and write the controllers. So now let's go ahead and write all the controllers for the user. It is super easy. It looks very intimidating at first, but if you have built enough of full stack application, that should sound super easy to work on. Let me share the screen and we'll write them. All right, so let's start with the sign up user. So for the sign up, some information will come from the request body. We will extract that. So first of all, let's see that, hey, what all information is coming up from the request body. Just goes like this. Okay. I want to extract email, I want to get password, and I also want to get skills. If no skills are getting passed, I would love to just keep that as an empty array. Next up, I would love to fire a simple try catch, and inside the try catch, first let's hash the password. Hashing the password with bcrypt is super easy. You can use bcrypt.js as well, but the whole point is just to hash it. I want to hash the password field with the 10 rounds. So feel free to use lesser number of rounds. And again, not here to explain what are the rounds. It's how many times the algorithm will keep on hashing. And we'll call this one as hashed or hashed password, whatever makes sense. Next up is we want to create a user. So let's bring the model and then simply use a create method on top of it. It requires the objects that you need to pass on. Object is not a right word. Properties that you want to add. So email and password is going to be hashed. I can write that. And we need skills as well. So all of this is being passed on, and just go ahead and await this because this is a database operation, and call this a user, call it a day. That is it. Now, once this is all done, next up we want to fire the ingest event. Let's call this one as fire ingest events. Now this depends on you. How do you want to fire that? Maybe you want to fire that and just keep on doing the stuff. Maybe you want to fire them into a separate stuff but want to wait it until things are all good. I would love to wait it. Again, it totally depends on your use case, how you want to implement it. I will just go ahead and say, hey, ingest, I want to send. This is how you fire the event, not send signal, send. And you have to pass on an object. In this, first of all, give it a name. That what is the name, the event that you want to fire up. I want to fire up user/signup. Why user/signup? Because if you go into the ingest where we wrote the function, this is exactly the event we are looking for. Event user/signup. It would be better to copy and paste this one. Don't want to do any typos in here. So there we go, user/signup. Once this is done, then you can pass on the data, as much data as you want to pass on, no big deal. I want to just pass on this email here, whatever the email I'm receiving. So I hope you can see the complete flow that ingest sends an event. This is the name of the event, and it sends the data along with it. Now, once the data is being sent, this is where you receive the data in the event. So notice here, async, this event and step. In the event, you receive all the data. We call it as data. Out of this, we extract the name. I hope now it is making much more sense. This is aha moment. Oh, now I got it, what you were trying to do. And again, this await totally depends on you, whether you want to wait it here or not, totally on you. Now, in my flow, I would love to just, once all done, I would love to log in the user as well. So I'll just take the JWT and I will create a sign-in tokens. So just like this. And I would pass on first an object which will have an underscore ID. Feel free to use anything. I'll say user._ID, which gets from the MongoDB. I will also add role. So user dot whatever the role is, I will pass you that as well. And then finally go ahead and say process.env.jwt. What did I call it? JWT secret. So JWT secret. So this is all done. Now let's store that into a variable. Call this one as token. There we go. Now you have JWT sign token. Let's return that as a response. So rest.json, and we will return a user as well as token. Because we are just testing the application in the production world, I will not send the user just like this, especially when we have password as well. There is no point of sending the password here. So again, you can go ahead and simply add restriction that I don't need password. So you can just ignore that field. I have taught that many times. I don't want to do this again, just mentioning it because yeah, this exists. All right, so this is it. Now in the error part, we'll just go ahead and say res.status because something has happened, which is wrong on the server side. So 500.json, we will copy paste this quite a lot. Error, sign up failed, as well as details or message, however you want to call this one. So this will be error.message. There we go. So all the details are being passed on. Let's save this. Looks pretty good. This is your sign up. Since we are here with the sign up, let's go ahead and copy this much at least and have another one, which is login. And there we go. So in the login, you will give me the email and password. So const email and password. And this will come from request.body. And yes, but before you say yes, we could have designed a method in the model itself, which gives us or compare the password and all these things. Usually I prefer that, but in this case, we haven't done that. So let's do it here. All right. So first of all, let's see that the email exists in the database or not. So user.find1, didn't wrote it better. Find one, I just need to find the one which is based on email. If I got this user, then I have to check the validation, whether it is good or not. If there is no user, then we're gonna go ahead and simply return res.status of 401 or 404 also, because didn't found the user. The JSON will be error, user not found. Looks okay. And if this is all the case, we got this one, then let's match whether the passwords are matching or not. For this, we will use bcrypt. How did I wrote the bcrypt? That's interesting. Yeah, sometimes I get that. All right, so this is the bcrypt that we have, and bcrypt have to compare. Yep, this is the compare, not the compare sync. I would just want to compare. I will pass you the password. I will also give you the user.password, and you just have to tell me whether everything went good or not. Const is match. There we go. Okay, so if everything matches, then only we'll proceed. But if it doesn't match, that means invalid credentials. So if there is no is match, that means it's true. So notice here is match is true. So we want to get into this. So true will get converted into this one. So we are just flipping this. If it is not true, then only we want to work on that. In that case, we simply want to return res.status is going to be 401 again with a JSON that says error, invalid credentials. Good so far. Now all the basic validation is done. So let's go ahead and create the tokens. We can actually borrow this piece of code because this is exactly the same that we want to do. Come back here, paste this. So we have created the token, JWT, role, everything good. Return the user just like that. In fact, so much so that this part can also be copied and can be pasted just here. This time it will be login failed. The details will be error messages. Told you it is super simple, nothing to be worried on. And let's go ahead and grab one more copy of this. Let's do the logout. Yep. Come back here. So how do you want to log out? We simply want to, there are a lot of ways how we can log out the user. We want to just simply revoke the token. There are a lot of ways. Let me show you one of such way. Now, the way we have mechanized this here, it's a different one. Again, a lot of people might cry on the YouTube because of this. Hey, you haven't shown us the proper logout. You don't. I know this, we run our own SaaS, so don't worry on that part. So logout actually is not like that. Logout is a very interesting phenomena, and especially you need to know this, that JWT is actually stateless. So as long as somebody has the JWT token, he will always be logged in. You cannot log him out. The only thing that comes up in between of this are cookies. So if you have sent the server side cookies, all you can do is when somebody logs out, you can just remove the cookie access. So this whole link Through the cookies, we send the JWT tokens. So through this, you can actually go up here and remove this cookie part. That is the only thing we do. So I'll just go ahead and say, so this is the part, we go ahead and revoke this. This is how the usual logout works. Now, surely, if you check out our free API, which is available, we have also mentioned that it can be done session-based and whole other things in which you can revoke the session from database. A lot can be done. I'm not here to go and give you the lectures on logout. My main goal is to show you AI agents and all of that in this specific video. But just want to point this thing because some people might say that, hey, you don't know how to even show the logout. So in this case, remember JWT is technically stateless. So how we do that is, first of all, let's see, at least verify whether the user who's trying to log out is actually registered or at least authenticated or not. So in this, just grab the headers and we'll simply say authorization, and then we want to split it. Why we want to split it? That's a great question. So whenever a request will come, it will have a header which is authorization. And in this authorization, the value will come up something like this that says bearer space and then the token value. And token values are long character sets like that. So we want to break this because we are just sending the token. This bearer and space is an extra. I want to remove this whole thing and want to grab just the token. That is why. So we'll just split this based on the space. So as soon as the space goes, and I want not the 0th part, the first part. So this is again based on space. This is the 0th part and this is the first part. So I'm just grabbing this value. So if this value exists, that means, yeah, token is there. And again, this is not the only way. Token can come up from variety of ways, and at least we can verify that. If there is no token, we can simply return res dot status, and we can simply say 401. That says JSON just like that. And we simply can pass on error that says unauthorized. Unauthorized. Hopefully I wrote that correct. All right. So this is the interesting part. We have get the unauthorized, but apart from this, we can verify the token as well. It's not going to bother much, but let's just do that just for fun. jwt.verify, I can use this in which I can just give you the token, and I can give you process.env.jwt secret, and based on that you can give me either the error, this is fine, or decoded. I won't be doing much with the decoded in this because I have nothing to extract as information in the logout. If there is error, then let's just write like this. Why is it going like this? So if this is decoded, error looks good. It's not indenting well. It should be. All right, so let's Command Z couple of times. All right, so let's go ahead and say, again, go back. All right, JWT secret, this is the callback error, decoded. And if it is all decoded, we'll go like this. And we will say if we have error, or just like error, we can just go ahead and say return res.status, which is 401. And I can say .json, which will be error. Again, unauthorized. Unauthorized. Save this. This is not saving well. At least the formatter is not doing good. It should be like this, or at least like this. I would prefer it. Anyways, you got the idea. But if it is all good, then we can send the response directly. So if it is not unauthorized, I can just go ahead and say res.json, and I can say a message. Log out successfully. Technically, we are not doing anything inside the database. Neither we have any mechanism to revoke this token. As long as whatever the time you have given, that token will be valid for that time. Whoever that token will be all good. So you need to understand the JWT mechanism. This has nothing to fault with our own thing. This is how JWT works. This is mechanism. This was designed like that. Anyways, you got the idea of how the logout works. Now, let's just say we want to update some of the user information as well as we want to get the user. So before getting the user, I think instead of writing all this logic in multiple places, especially this logic that, hey, I'll grab the token, I'll try to get this information. Let's write a classic middleware so that life is easier. And why this user is having an issue. Are we having some issues in the controller? Nope. Having some issues here? Probably not. Oh, this is error is giving us the issue. JSON error. Let me check this. I guess this needs to be an object. So I need to just select this and get it like this. Should be all okay. Oh, now it's indenting well. My bad. I was having an issue. Good catch. All right, so as I was saying that instead of doing these things again and again, let's go ahead and write a controller, not controller, a middleware that will make our life little easier. Let's create a new folder, middlewares. You can have more than one middlewares or middleware. I'll have just one, which is auth.js, and we can import that. Only thing that we need is JWT from JSON web token. We are going to export a method authenticate or is logged in, whatever you like to call. Request, response, and the most important part is next. All right. So we'll just go ahead and call this one as token. How we grab the token? Exactly same. If token can come up from the cookies as well, go ahead and write that logic in the or part. We'll say request dot headers, make sure it is headers, not header. Authorization, make sure you write this correct, otherwise it will be issue. I will optionally split this because it might not be there. So let's go ahead and split this based on the space. And from there, we will grab the first part, not the 0th part. And we are going to go ahead and write a simple logic. If there is no token, then we are going to return a response with the status of 401. And we will say JSON, which will like this, error will be same, access denied, no token found. That's okay. If there is a token, we'll try to decode it. If we don't found it, then the error part is good. Let's write the error part first. Res.status, status, which will be 401 again, .json, error, invalid token. Easy part. Now let's try to decode. JWT.decode. This is how you decode the token. But no, we need to verify that, not decode. My bad. JWT.verify. Yes, that's the method. In this, you pass on the token as well as you pass on the secret. Process.env.jwt secret. Copy that and paste it up here. This will verify and will give you decoded information. Now you get a big object in which everything is available for us. Now, if you remember, we have this request object available to us, which will be passed on to the next request. So we will add one more object to it and we'll store all of this information here, all of the information. And apart from this, we'll also invoke the next so that it will allow us to pass on the things on to the next. Now in every single controller, wherever we have this request, if the request passed through this authenticated controller, that means we have this request object and all the things are available to us, just like in the request body. So we'll just come back here and we'll say export const. Let's just say we want to update the user. That's the controller we want to write. And we'll see async, again, request response. And the way we how use the controller is through the routing. I will show you that as well. We'll grab some information from request.body. And we will see the skills because that's the most update thing that we'll be doing. And we can update the user's role and maybe the email as well. Maybe admin gets the power to update that. And then we'll simply go with the try catch. We will see if the request dot user optionally have a role, we want to check for a certain role, is not equals to admin, then we'll not allow him to work on anything. Only admin can update. Maybe you want to add moderator as well, just write an or operation that if request.user role is not equals to moderator, so any one of them is fine. Return res.status and we'll go with 403.json error forbidden. There we go. Okay, that's the part one. And then we want to find a user based on the email. So we'll just go ahead and say user.find1 based on email. This is a database operation, so await and hold that into a user variable or get user, whatever you like to call this variable. If you don't find the user, then you simply go ahead and simply say return res. I should design a autofiller for that. Res.status 401.json, just like this. Error, which will be user not found. Couldn't find the user. All right. Assuming that this is all done and we are able to find the user, let's just say we want to await. So await, update the user. User.update1. For this, we have to pass on a couple of information. So the first one is the email. So let's go ahead and say, how do we say it? First, let's enter here and then we want to say email. Based on this, I want to find the user, and the new information that we want to update is skills will be if the skills dot length, then we are going to go ahead and say skills. Otherwise, we are going to go ahead and say user dot skills and the role will go as it is. All right, so I hope you got this one part easy. It's a classic JavaScript 101, no big deal here. But again, there could be more. I really want to update it with all the skills that they are mentioning. But again, you can extract the array, spread it out, all the fun stuff that you want to do. That is totally on you. I'll not do that much. So this is all good. You can add more things in the update. I know update is really complex. I'll just say res.json just like this, and we'll put up a message that says user updated successfully. More than enough for us. And for the rest of the part, we'll copy paste. Copy. And for the error part, we'll come back here, paste it. So res.status, and we'll say update failed. Looks good. All right, so this is update user. Last one, but not the least, is let's get the details. Copy this, shrink this, and this one will be get user. Okay, how does the get user work? Directly by try catch. We'll simply say if the request dot user dot role is not equals to admin, then we want to forbid this, but this can be used for getting the user or search the user based on email and a lot of other things. So we'll allow this functionality only for the admin. That is why we are writing this code. But if you just want to get the user, you can write a separate one for this one. Again, depends on you how you want to work with that. I don't want other people to find other users, basic stuff. Okay, so if this is not admin, then we'll simply go ahead and say return res.status will be 403. I'll copy paste this time. .json, and we'll say error, which is forbidden. All right, this time I'll copy this whole part because I've been using this quite a lot. Okay, so this is all good. Now we want to find the user. So const user is going to be database operations. So await user dot find. I want to find all of them. So this get user will get all the users. In fact, it would be correct to call it as get users. I want to grab all the users which are on my platform, but I don't want to see their password. So I'll just say select, and I will just go ahead and say remove password. You can do that in other places as well. And looks good. Now we want to simply say return and res.json, and we'll return all the users. We should call this as users because we are getting many users. And in this part, we'll copy paste. Why did I copy that part which I'm not using? Anyways, there we go. So all the controllers are here. We have written them. I hope you got the logics behind them. We have written everything manually, and hope this was fun exercise for you as well. Now, since we have written this much, let's go ahead and write the routes as well. Controllers are done. Ingest, middleware, a lot we have done. Let's go into a new folder. Routes, we will create our routes separately, not on the same index file. This one will be all user route, so user.js. First of all, express from express, and then we need to create a router. Will be created by express.router, just like this, and we need to export this router. Export default router. So this is a standalone. We will have one for the tickets as well. Let's go ahead and create that also. Ticket.js, and we'll just go ahead and copy this. Ticket.js, paste this. We'll talk about this later, surely, in the next segment. All right, so we have this router. Now all we got to do is bring in the controllers and keep on updating with this. So this router, first of all, gets the route of post, which will be sign up. And as soon as somebody says sign up, we need to get sign up. Should have auto imported it anyways. If it doesn't, I'll do it. We will import multiple things from one directory back in the controllers, user.js. Thank you so much, but I don't want you. And now let's try if we get sign up. There we go. So this is a sign up. We'll have similar one for login as well. This is the login, and we'll have the logout as well. Let's keep it as post because we're not doing much in the logout. Okay, and now we need to get with the authentications as well. So these are my non-authenticated route. Let's go with the router. Let's say post, because this is update user / update -user. For this, we need to first bring in authenticate. No, it's not auto suggesting. Import authenticate. Will come on this. From one directory back, we are going into the middlewares, and we have just one auth.js. And do we get a suggestion here? Yep, authenticate. So this is exactly what we want. Copy this, go up here, and we want to authenticate, and then we want to call update user. And similar, we have one more, which is just a get router.get, and we'll call this one as /users. I'll grab all the users. Only you should be authenticated, and then you are allowed to get users. Yep, that's the one. All right, so router is all done. Now, only thing that's remaining is to bring this router into your home, or in this case, index.js, so that we have it. We'll bring it just before the MongoDB connection. That will make sense. So we'll just say app.use, and in this, we'll say that everything in the /API/auth will be serving up here, and we need to bring in user routes. We don't have this. We need to import this as a router. All right, so we'll just go ahead and say import user routes. These are named import. I can name them whatever I like. From dot slash routes slash user.js. This should be all it. So this is now complete, full stack at least that we have built. Now next up we have to take down the ticketing system as well. So we'll be creating the tickets controller. First of all, we'll create some functions so that tickets can also be checked. So we'll use the AI for that part. Make sure you have environment variable as Gemini key and all these values are filled. I'll fill them later on, otherwise it will get exposed. I don't want to do that. So let's move on to the next video and talk about how we can inject the AI using ingest functions. Let's catch up in the next section. All right, moving on. In this section, we are going to create our first AI agents. We're going to learn how we can create AI agents that can talk to any LLM. The process is exactly same. The documentation shows us how we can talk to Anthropic agent. We'll do it for the Gemini. The process is exactly same. And then I'll also walk you through how you can run those agents. Then the whole rest of the process that we create a controller and based on any trigger, we can run whole of this pipeline. That will remain exactly same. Now, another interesting concept that comes up into this segment is prompting. We have discussed quite a lot in our bootcamp of Gen AI. Prompting is a really interesting art. You will learn tiny bit about it in this section as well because it is required. Otherwise, we will not get required and what we really need as an output from the LLM, we won't be getting it. But don't you worry, I'll walk you through enough of that so that we both can actually learn about it. So first of all, this is again the agent kit by ingest. We'll be using this. That's exactly why we have actually installed it. And they actually mentioned don't have the existing project, you can work with that. We have an existing project. So the whole process majorly is this, where we simply says create agent that comes from the agent kit. And you name the agent, whatever your agent name is, description, and you provide a system prompt. This is the bread and butter of most of the LLMs. And then you provide what model you want to use, default parameters. We will get Gemini instead of Anthropic because this agent actually can talk to any one of them which you require. So for this, let's go here and we'll close this. Just like previously we created a utility in which the mailer was there, this time we'll create a utility for talking to or taking our tickets to the AI agent. We'll call this one as AI.js. Feel free to give it a better name than what I have given here. So we'll just go ahead and import two things from ingest. So ingest agent kit. And as you put up, the first that we need is create agent. But you'll see that we have so many of them. Hopefully it suggests us better. Not doing a good job as of now, but here it is. So it should be at the very top, but it's not. So we have agent, agent result, agentic model, and all of them. Clearly, Anthropic is here. We have Gemini, we have Grok, we have OpenAI. So all the major popular ones are there. The approach is pretty simple. Let's go and work with them. So step one is to create an agent. We're going to follow the exact same thing that they have mentioned. So const db agent create agent, we will use this. So we'll call this one as const analyze ticket. And this will be async. We will receive a ticket as input, whoever is using this method. So we'll work on that, what kind of data we receive in this one. Not much, just basics, the ticket ID, whoever has created the ticket, some information like that. So inside this method, we are going to create a support agent. Now this is where we are following. This is the method that we have created. This support agent is what we are creating from here. All right, so the way how it works is simply say create agent, provide the objects that you want to provide. So for example, in this, we want to provide a model. The model that we are using is Gemini, and inside the Gemini, you have to pass on the objects like what is the model that you want to use. I wish it gives me the suggestion. That would be easy. Yes, thank goodness. So we want to use Gemini 1.5. Feel free to use any model. We'll go with the Flash 8B, which is comparatively faster. Not that accurate, but we don't need too much high accuracy. We are not doing any research work here. We also need to provide the API key, which can come from process.env. Don't do this. Process.env. We don't have it. Do we have it? Nope. Let's go into env, get Gemini API key, copy that and paste it up here. So we got the Gemini API key. Now rest is how you actually name it, description it and system it. We won't be using description, that's okay for us, but we'll provide a name so that it shows up. This will be our AI ticket triage assistant. And here comes the most important part, which I'll copy paste whatever the prompts we are using, system, and we'll just keep it as in the backticks as of now. I'll replace this in a minute. But as you can see, this thing, the system prompt, is the most interesting prompt. You have to write really in-depth prompts. Sometimes these prompts can go for 200 words, 300 words, or probably even more. So this is how you create the support agent. Now the next thing is we have to run this support agent. All we got to do is take this support agent and simply say run. While running also, we have to provide some of these prompts because system prompt is already there. But when the time we are making a query, we have to provide the data and have to write a prompt. I'll show you that prompt as well in a minute, but this is all you do. Now again, this needs to await because we will get some response and we'll get some response like that. So we'll store that into a variable. And this is it. This is all it takes to actually run this. I will first fill up these system prompts as well as this agent prompt so that we can discuss more about. Let me go ahead and do that. All right, so I have given you the prompts. Let me also explain you about what happens in this prompt. So yeah, it's a really long one. So first of all, we are preparing the system. Any kind of LLM that you use, every single LLM is a generic LLM. No matter what they call it as, prepared for coding or prepared for research, almost every LLM is a generic LLM. The way how you make it a specific agent or specialized in something by giving you the system prompt. This is in preparation that what you are. You will see system prompts like something like this. So if I just go ahead and work with that, you might have seen that you are a helpful assistant in coding or in maths, whatever that is. So these kinds of things are actually the system prompts. So these are by default there. What's interesting is whenever there is a question, there are two things, which is the user ask. So this will be my user question. So there we go. So this is whole of my user question. And whatever the prompts being replied to you, so this is known as agent or whatever the LLM is saying. So this is a response that you get. So agent will give you a response. So I hope this is much clear now, so that system prompt is already there. This is just setting up the environment. It's setting up the room. Then the user asks a question and then agent gives the response back. This is how usually LLM works. So we are setting up the room with the analyze ticket here. So we simply says that, hey, you are an expert AI that processes the technical support tickets. Your job is to summarize the issue, estimate its priority, provide helpful notes and resource link for human moderators, list relevant functions and skills. But not only that, you have to provide more of the prompting. If you have studied the prompting, zero-shot prompting or chain of thoughts, whatever, we need this. Respond with only valid JSON. Do not include markdown, code fences, comments or anything. The format must be raw JSON object. But there is a problem. Even though you have asked it to only give you raw JSON, every single time you will notice that anytime you ask it for the code, it gives you like this. It's very difficult to write it in this panel. I'll write it here itself. That will be easier. So you'll see that they actually gives you the response in this format. Then they say JSON and then they close it and they try to write all documents or whatever the code they need to write. They actually go ahead and write it up here. So this still is a problem. We will solve that. But we have mentioned here that, hey, respond with only valid JSON data. Do not include any markdown, but they still will do. The format must be raw JSON object. Repeat, do not wrap your output in markdown or code fences. This is the system prompt. Now, at the time when the agent runs, we again provide this that you are a ticket triage agent, only return the strict JSON object with no extra text and header and markdown. And we are saying that, hey, return me the summary, return me the priority, helpful notes, and the relatable skills, an array of relevant skills required to solve the issue. Notice here, I have given a helpful example. So this is what I'm expecting that the AI will return. Is it a guaranteed thing? Probably not yet still. Uh, but we expect that 99% of the time it will work. So we'll get an object again wrapped up in the JSON, and then we have to say summary, priority, helpful notes, and related skills. We're expecting we'll get our data like this, but still we have to validate this. And we are providing the ticket information. The title of the ticket is this and description is this. So this is what we are receiving in this ticket. All right. Hope that is all good. Now comes up the interesting part and the most important part, that how you will receive that data. The data receiving is pretty easy. You get the response, and in that you get a lot of output. The first one we'll get with this. So usually there are ratings, or there are like, what do you call them? The support that, hey, this is my first choice, this is my second choice, all of them comes up. So we'll just pick up the first one and we'll pick up the content. By the way, you can just dump the response all up here. That is also a good idea in case you are working with the first time, with this first time. All right, and then we run up a try catch. Now comes some interesting part. So this is where it took us a little bit time. So we went on to regexr, and I'll just go ahead and change this into, I'll cut this out. So this is the kind of a data we'll get. And by the way, regexr is one of my still favorite website. So we saw that the data that we'll get is going to be wrapped up in the JSON most of the time. And we get this object and then this JSON end here. So I wrote a simple regex expression just like this. And by the way, AI helped me to write this regex expression. I gave it literally this, and I want to select that. Then I verified it with the regexr, so JSON and then all of this data. So this is where this whole regex is coming up, so that I can match the whole of the data and can verify that, okay, I'm getting all of this. So for all the response, what I did is in the raw, I went up and simply say, hey, I want to match this. And then I can put up these slashes just like this. And inside the slashes, I wrote the same script, and then I also made it I. By the way, in case you don't know this, on the regexr website, they give you all the flags for JavaScript. So G for global, I for case and sensitivity, multi-lines if you want to have it, global if you want to have G. So all of the values are here. Definitely this is not a regex tutorial, but still you got enough of idea. And we are going to store that into a match. So if we get something matching of that, that's great. Otherwise, we'll just use as it is. Probably they haven't given me the data in the backtick JSON ending with that. Probably it has done a better job and has given me all the data in this format only. So we have to take care for both of the things. We'll call this one as JSON string, and we'll say, hey, we'll take the match and we'll use a conditional here. So we'll just take the match just like this. If the match has happened, we'll take the first value of it, not the 0th. Again, you have to read the regex. This is classic JavaScript. Otherwise, we'll just trim this so that all extra spaces and everything is gone, and we'll just store it like that. And once this is all done, we are going to go ahead and return JSON.parse, and we'll say JSON string. Hopefully now everything is converted into JSON. For the error, we are going to just shrink it down to E, because we have written already so much. We'll say console.log. You can use error as well, which will be failed to parse JSON from AI response. And we will go ahead and we can use a comma, or you can use plus with the E dot message, and we will return null from here. This is really troublesome. Oh, you need to really watch out for this. Okay, so this portion here, this is just handling the AI response. This is not really talking to the AI. Talking to the AI is all done here. So whatever you want to send, whatever the system want to create, this is all done. Notice here how small this is. We are just doing couple of lines of creating the agent and couple of lines to run the agent. That is it. And people worry so much about it. And that's all what we have. Now let's go ahead and export this analyze ticket so that people can use it outside of this file as well. Export default analyze ticket. There we go. All right. So this is part one of how we have done this. Now we need to create a function so that we can actually go ahead and call this just like previously we created. So notice here on signup.js, exactly same. We'll call this one as on ticket create. We'll use this one on creation of ticket. On ticket create.js. So some of the thing will remain exactly same, and probably we'll send an email to moderator once we have assigned it. I'll walk you through with that part. Let's go ahead and let's grab all of this. We'll see how much is required, how much is not required, and all of these details as we go further. So first of all, let's create a function on ticket created. And for this, we'll use the ingest, same create function. This is an object. It requires a couple of parameters which we can bring up from on signup. These two, nobody remembers them, at least not me. So this time, instead of on user signup, we will say on ticket created. Retries to is good enough, and this one is going to be ticket / created. The rest of the stuff remains same. We will have an async method which goes like this. Here we are going to receive event. We will have the data as well, and we want to run multiple steps. I hope you see that there is a pattern. Once you see this, how it happens, everything remains super easy. So from the event itself, we will receive the ticket ID that is created in our database. So we'll say this is ticket ID. We will receive this from event.data. Feel free to send as much data as you want. Let's first go ahead and fetch the ticket or fetch ticket from DB. Okay, how do I fetch the ticket from the DB? I need to grab the ticket. So instead of the user, this is not good, import ticket from one directory back, inside the models, we will have ticket.js. Okay, so let's query the ticket that, hey, I want to find a ticket. So find by ID. We do have a direct access to ID, so we can just, we don't need even curly braces. We can directly give it ticket ID. This is a database operation, so await for this and call this one as ticket. There we go. Super fun. And if we don't have ticket, we have to write that again. If we don't have ticket, then let's throw a new non-retriable error. Ticket not found. Okay, and what we want to do here is, if all good, then we return the ticket object. And let's say we actually did it really bad. We will do that, but let's not return it right now. But actually we just, in the flow, we wrote the code, but we didn't realize we are not following the syntax because this should be the step one. In case we see this again on sign up, this should be like this: const user await step run, then name it, and then in the async we should actually use this. So we did a bad job. Again, let's fix this. Let's cut this out, and we definitely can reuse this. So cut this out and follow the same syntax again. So on sign up. Okay, so this is await step run, name it. Okay, so await, and then we have step, come on. Yep, this is the step dot run. We have to call it as fetch ticket. Then next is async. And this will be a callback, just like this. And here we can actually call this one. So instead of calling it as ticket, let's call this as ticket object and call whole of this as ticket. Just like this. So this will be my ticket. And what we will do once all of this is done here, we can just say return ticket object. So we are throwing this ticket object back. So whoever runs this gets a ticket, and this ticket now has whole of the data. Now, if this is all good, this has run. Now we need to run another step in which we have to update the value. Okay, so how we are going to update this? This is interesting. Await step run. Let's do this again. It's very zoomed in. We will say await step dot run, and this time we want to run is update ticket status async callback, just like this. All right, so here we have more update operations that we have to go ahead and do. And the transactions are not required in this case because we are updating only the optional fields. So what we can do, first of all, we can grab the response as well, but let's just say we simply say await ticket dot find by ID and update. What we are doing is simply get this ticket which we have got from above dot underscore ID. So this is the one, and we will change the status to do status, and the status of the ticket will change it as to do or all uppercase. Okay, this is all good and it looks okay. Now once we have changed the status to do, this is optional. We are just increasing the steps so that we can at least see how multiple steps looks run. When multiple steps run, how does it looks like? And now it's time to utilize the AI, and we need to call this method analyze ticket. So let's go ahead and directly call this one analyze ticket, and in this we'll pass on all of the ticket information. We will await because the agent will run and will take some time, and we'll call this one as AI response, just like this. Once we received the AI response, now it's time to run another step function, and this time we will do AI processing. I hope you can see what I'm doing here. Await step dot run. I'm making you more comfortable so that you can also build your AI agents no matter how many steps it takes. AI dash processing, same, async callback. There we go. And here what we want to do is now get this data from the AI response. We are expecting that we have AI response, and we are getting some data out of it. So the first thing that I'll do is I'll create this skills as an empty array, and I'll see in a minute why we want to do this. Just give me a second. First, let's check whether we have AI response or not. If we have AI response, then only we want to work, because remember, we are throwing null here as well. So checking is super important. I will just go ahead and say await ticket, and go ahead and again find by ID and update based on ticket dot underscore ID. And the values that you want to update now are going to be, first of all, priority. Now, how do we want to work with the priority? Now, there is a chance that the priority that AI is giving me back might have low, medium, or high, but there are chances that it might hallucinate. It might give us bad result. So we want to check that, and based on that, we want to assign. So first of all, let's just say this is an array. We'll just define the array right here. We can do better job, but as of now, it's okay. Medium, or there could be high. So if all of this is not in dot includes, which is simply an array methods, and where we want to check whether it's includes in the AI response dot priority. Although we have asked it that it should be there, but it might not be there. So this is our checking. Do something, otherwise do something. If it is there, we are going to go ahead, and if it is not there, remember we have put up this exclamation. If it is not there, then we will assign it medium. If it is there, then we'll just take your response, AI response dot whatever the priority you are giving me. I hope this is easy. We are checking if the AI response that we are getting, the priority, especially the field, doesn't have any of these three fields, then we include the medium as a priority. Otherwise, we use the priority given by the AI. So this is how you precautionarily add all of this data. All right. Once this is done, rest of the part is super easy. So we'll have the helpful notes, just not like that. Helpful notes will be coming up from AI response dot helpful notes. Hopefully they are there. Here TypeScript would be super helpful. Status would be in progress. We are not asking AI to give a status, so we'll hard code this and we'll give related skills. This is again interesting part. We will take AI response and we will say give us related skills, and hopefully it is giving us in the array format. Okay, another thing that we want to do once we are done with this, we still have this in the if statement. We are still in there. We are doing this. So await this part. Once this whole thing is done, this await part, remember we still have this AI response available in this block. I want to fill this array with the same thing. So this skills array will be filled up with AI response dot related skills. You might be wondering why you would want to do that. The reason for doing this is so that I can come back here and I can return this skills, not like that, skills. So as soon as my this step function runs, I do have this skills return, but as of now, I'm not capturing that into any variable. Let's do that. So I'll call this one as const related skills equals. The reason why I didn't declare the variable name first, because you need to know that what I'm throwing back from here and what we are receiving here. This has nothing to do with AI processing. We are just, it's the flow of the code. Now the reason for doing this is I want to run another pipeline. Yeah, we are going with that. I want to assign my moderator, as I showed you that the moderator, if you look at the models, that each of the user have some of the skills. And if that sum of the skills matches, I want to assign him a ticket. So that's also interesting part. Let's come back here and run another one. And we'll call this as moderator. Again, this will just be nothing. Await. Yep. Step dot run. And what do we want to run? We want to simply say that assign moderator, and here we are going to go ahead and say async callback, just like that. Okay, so how we are going to assign the moderator? This is where we have to add a little bit of MongoDB pipeline. By the way, the videos are available in my Udemy course. Pretty rock solid section on MongoDB aggregation pipeline. Anyways, I will just go ahead and come up here and I will say let user is going to be equal to await user. We didn't brought it. We should actually get it. Oh, we were having this. We deleted it. On sign up, I'll grab the user from here, copy this, and we'll grab the user. Didn't expect it that we'll be needing user as well. All right. So here is a user. I'll just say dot find one. We need to only find one. The role should be moderator. What if we don't find any moderator? Just like in my case, there was just admin. So in that case, we'll assign, if we didn't find any user, we'll just assign the ticket to the admin itself. So based on this, so the first parameter that we have gone is role moderator. Now we need to match the skills. This is again a little bit of advanced part, not too much, but little bit. We'll use a mechanism which is suggestion, no suggestion, element match. So in the element match, I can use the regular expression regex. In the world of AI, the regex is used quite a lot. I thought we got rid of it, but nope, we still actually use it. So we'll just go ahead and call this related skills dot join. And we are going to join them based on the pipe. And we'll also go ahead and provide the options. Remember the options we just discussed about? Global, case insensitive, all of this. So this looks okay. Not yet super happy with this. Probably the color coding can be better. But anyways, you got the idea that we simply go ahead and provide a role moderator. I want to find a user based on that. And whoever skills match nearby to that. So we are not using any AI or any fancy thing. Classic regex. We are matching this. So let's just save this. Looks good now. So this is where we actually find the user. If we don't find the user, what in that case? That could be a case. You are correct there. In that case, what I want to do is I want to update this user with await user dot find one, and I want to find any first one whose role is admin. So there we go. I got the user myself. Now all I have to do is assign this ticket to this user. So in no case, either this one will give me a user, or at least there is one user in the application which is admin. So we will get that. And after that, we will simply go ahead and say await. Let's give this ticket find by ID and update. I have the still access to this ID. So I'll just go ahead and say ticket dot underscore ID. And the parameter that I want to update is assigned to, and we will assign it to the user. But again, optionally, be very cautious here as well. Dot underscore ID. So we have assigned that, or we can optionally put a null. We probably will not get null, but anyways. And once this is all done, then we simply go up here and simply say return the user. So hopefully this user, when we return, this actually gets catched, this whole user we are returning, and we'll able to catch that in the moderator. And just to have a little bit more fun, I hope you are having it also. Once we are here, we can actually run another pipeline. This one is totally optional. This is like on the go thinking. I can just go ahead and say await step.run, and I can send an email to this guy because we have that functionality already cooked up. So we'll say send email notification. Same stuff. Sync, callback. There we go. In this, we will say if we have moderator, make sure you only run if you have moderator, otherwise we don't want to run this. And we are going to go ahead and say await. We still have the access to ticket. Remember, the ticket is available to us, and we want to find the ticket based on ID. This moderator is here, and we want to get the ticket. So to the moderator. So moderator is also a user. Let's check this. You will also have the same confusion. I have the user, which we are calling it as moderator, but this, where am I? Where are models? Here it is. So this has email. Verification is still important. So from the ticket, can I get from the ticket? Okay, but I need to get the final ticket as well. I'll just keep that, but in sending the email, I don't need it. If I have moderator, why am I getting tickets? Okay, so I'll just go ahead and call await send mail. Yep, give me that. And in the send email, I have first thing I have to provide is to. I want to send it to moderator dot email. So that part is all done. And then I want to send it ticket assigned. Ticket assigned. And if you want to send any text as well, we have to send some of the text. So let's go ahead and send the text just like this. And nope, we just have to send a parameter. So we'll just use a backtick, and we'll say a new ticket is assigned to you. If you want to send some of the ticket information, maybe that's the case. We still have the ticket. We have the ticket. This whole event is giving us the ticket. So we can find the ticket by just getting this ticket, and we can have this ID of this. Should be easy. Let's just say in here we want to send it. So await. I want to grab the ticket. I will find by ID. And I do have access to this ticket dot underscore ID, and hopefully this will give me a ticket. And I shouldn't be writing it here, and move this above. Okay. And then call this one as final ticket. Now I have all the access to information. I won't be doing it, but I just wanted to show you that you still can do it. Grab the information of ticket. Now you can just do a ticket dot whatever you want to access the information. And it's just a matter of fact that you can just use backticks. That means I can use $. So I can just go ahead and say final ticket dot whatever the field you want to use. Do we have some fields? Is modified, is new? No, don't want to use that. Where are my models? We have the models here. So ticket title, at least that we can use. Ticket dot title. There we go. A new ticket was assigned to you, and we'll just provide the name of it. I think that's good enough. We can provide more of these information. We can provide URLs and whatnot, but I think this is good enough. All right. So this is all good. We'll just go out of it. So we have done all of this. And once all this is done, we'll just return success is true. So I hope you can see I was able to successfully get you into complexity of the things. We'll just call this one as E, or just an error. Console dot error. And we'll use this one, and we'll say error. Don't do this, like error running steps. Error running the step. And we can get error message as well. Error dot message. And we'll also return a false. We have done this much. Let's do this one also. Success is false. All right. Ooh, a lot we have done, but let me just go ahead and give you a walkthrough, a tour of it. So just look at this amount of things that we are doing in this one function. And that's how you do things in production, and especially the AI agents. Not told you, this is not a toy project. So notice here, first we are getting the ticket ID from the event. We have the access to this ticket. So whatever gets returned back, this is a ticket, and you have access of this throughout here. You go ahead and fetch the ticket from the database. Then we simply run this ticket as updated or to do whatever you want to update. This was just for fun. Don't really need this portion of it, but I wanted to have it. Then you go ahead and grab a response from the AI. Then you simply go ahead and assign relatable skills. So we are doing AI processing. We are assigning all the skills and metadata, all of that. But we are also returning back the related skills so that we can find a moderator based on that. Once we find a moderator based on that, we actually not only assign the moderator, but we also send an email to it. So you can see so much of processing is being done, and you don't need to await that into when the ticket was created. You can just keep it doing in the behind the scene or in the backend. Ooh, quite a lot in building an AI agent, but I hope you now see that it's just a development. It's just AI, another layer that we developers can go ahead and add it. It's not really that bad. Hope this video has given you confidence that you can also go ahead and build AI agents as well as can create the AI agent. That is my goal for this particular section. That is it for this video. Let's catch up in the next one. All right, let's move on to hopefully the last section for building the backend for our AI workflow apps, the smart ticketing system. So in this section, we are going to just work with the controllers that are related to tickets. So for example, creation of the tickets, probably getting the tickets. Updation, we are not doing much because that's being done by the AI. So we'll just get the basics. And again, if you need anything else, it's just the business logic. So not a big deal, but I'll still walk you through with majority of them. So here we are on to this segment, or this VS Code, basically. So let's fold this up. All of them, don't need any of them. Let's create a fresh controller, and that's going to be major bread and butter for this application. So we'll call this one as ticket.js. We don't need much. First of all, we need to shut up the AI. We need the tickets model as well as the ingest. So hopefully it will try to get me ingest. Nope, it doesn't. So let's just say I want to import import ingest from one directory back. Inside the ingest, we have client.js, and we can be here ingest. That's what we need. We also need to import the ticket, and that will be coming up from one directory back, models, and ticket.js. That is it, what we need. Now we will have multiple of the controllers, but the most important one where we are going to use our AI workflow is going to be create ticket. So let's start from there. Rest are pretty easy. Don't need to worry much on that. So export const and call this one as create ticket. We will have async, if I can write that, async request. Why are you doing this? Request response. All right. Now, first of all, let's wrap everything inside the try catch in itself. Now we can place the request body outside of this as well, or probably inside. Doesn't really matter much. Let's keep it inside. Again, there's no big reason behind that. We will grab title and description, and that will all come from request.body. Basic. Okay, now if we don't have this, then we'll probably give a message. So if we don't have title, or if we don't have description, then we will throw up a message that return a response that has a status of 400 or 401. 400 is good. And a JSON which says a message which will be like this, that says title and description are required. Okay, good enough. Now let's go ahead and create the ticket with the default value. So this is the point where we simply create the ticket, how we should do it. So ticket.create and provide the details. So the step one is actually to go ahead and create the ticket. I'll provide you the title. I'll provide you the description, and I'll also give you the created by, not created at, created by. And I expect that this is also being done by the authenticated user. If you are an authenticated user, that means you have request.user._id. I can store that, but it would be safer to actually convert that into a string. That will make our life a little easier. Let's call this one as new ticket. New ticket. There we go. Once this is all done, then we can actually trigger the ingest functions. Again, await or not await, or how do you want to make the flow happen, totally on you. I'll just go ahead and call the ingest, and I will send an event notification for this one. I have to send a couple of things. The first one being the name and the data. So the name, we will just go ahead and borrow the name from ingest on ticket created. The name we are creating here is not this one, event, the ticket created. Copy that and call this one. The next one is data, how much data you want to provide. So since the ticket is being created, the first one is going to be ticket ID that I want to provide. We can simply grab it by new ticket ._id and make sure we still convert that into a string. That would be easier. And once we do that, we also provide the title, description, as well as created by. Created by, and we can actually override that. We don't need to override that as technical per se, but still we can give it like this. ._id .to string. Again, whatever you want to do. The whole job is to provide this created by. And looks good. Now this is all done. So this is our AI pipeline. Super easy. Looks super easy right now here. And then we simply go ahead and simply say return res.status, which is 201 because we created this, .json, and inside in here we'll give a message that says ticket created and processing started. Good message. And we will also pass on this ticket. Maybe somebody wants to process this new ticket immediately and want to display that in the browser itself. It looks really fast that way. So this is good. And we will have the error message as well. Let's also do this. Console.log, and we will say, or rather, console.error, error creating ticket, error.message. And we will return a response that says status of 500 because something is wrong on our side. .json goes like this, and we say message internal server error. All right, let's save this. So this one looks good. No big deal. We just have created a fresh new ticket here. Next up, we are going to do with the get ticket and get tickets. By the way, there's a small difference. Get tickets gets you all the tickets. Get ticket gets you just one ticket. Maybe you want to see more details on it. And surely you can work on more controllers like update, ticket, individual, and all of them. Once you see how to fetch one individual ticket, then you can definitely go ahead and update that. So let's say that we want to have, first of all, get tickets. So all of them. And I guess only admin should be allowed to do so. Again, we'll see that. So first of all, we'll just go ahead and say async request response, just like this, super easy. And we'll wrap everything in the try catch, my favorite thing to do so. And we'll just say we will first grab the user, expecting only that the authenticated users are here. Okay, next thing is if there is role is not user, then you should not be able to do anything. You should not be in the controller itself because this is get tickets. You are getting all the tickets. So user should not be getting it. Moderator, probably yes, they can get all the tickets. Admin should definitely, depends on how you want to perform this operation. So if the role is not equals to the user, for rest of all of them, I'll allow them to see all the tickets. Maybe moderator, maybe want to solve more tickets, depends on how the flow of this works. And this is how you grab all the tickets. I'll just go ahead and say that let's store them into a tickets array. So let's create this one here. Let tickets equals to this one. So I can just call this one as tickets, just like this. And once I have this, probably I want to also extract that who is solving this or who is it assigned to. So in here, I can use populate because I want to populate a subfield, which is user. And for populate, which of the fields you want to grab. So I'll say that I want to grab. This is my least favorite part of this. This should not be string because it is easy to make a mistake here. And we also want to grab email, and we want to grab probably an underscore ID, just like that. Oh, did I made a mistake? Yep, it should be. All right, a little difficult to catch this one. So assigned to is there, and then we have, okay, let's get it up here. So we have this method, you get rid of this. All right, so the first part is assigned to, and the second part is what all do I want to grab? This should be it. So this is email, and the second one will be underscore ID. I don't know what was having it. Okay, anyways, let's also go ahead and say I want to sort this, and I want to sort it based on created at, and we'll give -1. Basic, nothing much. So if this is the case, then we got all the tickets. And if it's not the case, then that means it's a user. So user should also be able to get all the tickets. So let's write an else case. So this is for not the user. And in the case for when there is user, I'll just go ahead and say await ticket dot find. So find definitely all of them. So let's go with that. But not all of them. Now you find only the tickets which are created by the user. So when the field created at, not created at, created by, so the tickets that I have created, you should be able to get them as well. So for this, I'll just go ahead and say user dot underscore ID. So I'm able to see all of the tickets that I have created. So that's also good. So in the get tickets, we can see that if your role is not user, you get all the tickets. So moderator gets all the ticket, admin gets all the ticket. But if you are a user and you want to run this controller, that means you want to see the tickets which you have created. You should at least have the access of this. All right. And what all the fields you want to get. So I'll just go ahead and say select. And again, this is not my favorite part. Title, description, as well as status, and created at. Easy, very easy to make a mistake in this. Sort, that will be sorted by created at, and we'll do -1. And we will store all of this into tickets, the upper array that we have defined, this one. So in any case, the tickets will have something. Once this is all done, let's go ahead and return this back. All right, so let's go ahead and get it up. First of all, let's return, okay, res.status and 200, surely. We have done something, we have got the data. And in the JSON, we'll just throw this tickets back. That's it. And in the error, we'll definitely love to copy paste. And here it is. Copy this, paste it up here, and we'll say that error fetching tickets, error message, internal server error. That looks good. All right, so this is getting all the tickets. Now let's just say you want to grab one ticket. Let's copy you and paste it up here. This one will be get ticket. So you'll grab one ticket only. Okay, let's open up the try catch before I forget. Nope, not here. Try catch. And first of all, let's grab the user request.user. We grab the user, let ticket, simple variable. We'll fill this up eventually. Okay, so if user.role is not equal to user. So how you want to fill the role? In this one, we are grabbing the one ticket. So you should be able to grab any ticket. If you're not a user, you should be able to grab it based on the ID. If anybody else has ID, he should not be able to grab my ticket. That's why we are putting up a check here that your role should not be user, because you might grab the ID for other people and work like that. First of all, ticket.find by ID, and I will find them based on ID. So request.params.id, you'll send me in the URL itself. And based on this, I'll just populate one more field, which is on assigned to. And I'll just move you on to the next line because you just gave me an error. All right, assigned to. And here we will say that I need email and I need maybe ID underscore ID. If you need more field, just go ahead and extract that. I'll just leave it here. Will not do any sorting and anything because it's just one ticket. So now let's go ahead and store that into ticket just like that. Okay, so this is the case in this. And if that's not the case, you are not user, then you should be only able to grab the ticket which is created by you only. So in the else case, we can simply say we will grab the ticket and we'll find by ID, or not the ID, I think find one, because we have a couple of parameters to pass on with. So we will find one which has certain parameters to be filled on. First of all, it should be created by me only, or the user. Created by, it should be user, not user, yes, user dot underscore ID, because we have extracted the user here, not directly request.user.id. And one more field, the ID. So it will have an underscore ID, which we'll grab from the URL itself. So request.params.id. So now both the parameter needs to be fulfilled. I will get the ID from the URL itself, but it should be created by me only because I'm the user. And we will also select some of the fields as well. So we will do select, and what else you want to grab? Title, description, and status, and created at. A small typo and it will all mess up. And we will hold ticket just like this. All right, so anyhow, the ticket gets filled up and gets the detail. And still, if we don't get the ticket, that's a problem. So if we don't have any ticket in both of the cases, that means we need to work more on it, probably debug that. As of now, we can just res.status 404, couldn't find anything. And we will get the JSON just like this. And we can put up a message. Not like that, in the quotes, ticket not found. Looks good. Okay. If this means we need to now return the ticket, at least I can grab this much. Res.status, JSON, and in the JSON, I can simply just provide the ticket. There we go. And the error part will remain exactly same. So we'll just copy this and we will paste it up here. Thank goodness the prettier actually works. So when I save this, all the extra spaces, everything goes. Otherwise, I had to manually fill this up. Anyways, error creating the ticket, error fetching ticket. The above one should be tickets. Minor details, but these are important. All right, so this part is done. If you have any other, you know the drill, how you can update them manually. Just get the data. We have seen that. We have updated the user as well. So I think this is good. Let's go ahead and now shrink them up. Create ticket, get tickets, and get one ticket. Let's create the route for them. Routes, we have the basic boilerplate already ready for us. That's a good sign. And we can actually grab a couple of more things. Not more, we just need this one. Copy this, paste this, and I guess that is it. Do we have more? We'll grab some of them from here as well. But we don't need any field as of now. This all will be coming up from ticket.js. Okay, now let's define the routes. Router.get. And the first one is just the home page where we get all the tickets. This will be done after authenticate. And we'll just get tickets. All the tickets are here. Next one is router.get. And we want to grab a specific ticket. So we'll just call a /:ID. And that should also be authenticated. And we'll get one ticket only. Get ticket, one ticket. And last is router.post. And on the slash itself, only the authenticated user can create a ticket. So create, no suggestion, create ticket. There we go. So pretty easy. We have all the things being done. This could be a little bit space. There we go. Looks beautiful. Now in the index file, we just need to bring it up. So the step one is go here. And we'll call this one as ticket routes. That will come from one directory, no, not one directory back. In the current directory, we have routes and we have ticket.js. All right. And this one can be copy pasted instead of the auth. This will be ticket or tickets, however you want to go, /API/tickets. And we will have ticket routes. Looks easy. All right, so this part is all done. Now we have to get one more API route where all of our ingest will work. Right now they're not working. So for this, we have to get one more middleware. So app.use. So in the app.use, we have to put up a route where all of our ingest things will be working. We'll call this one as /API/ingest. And we have to get one more thing, which is serve. Will ingest serve me there? It should give me suggestion. Nah, Not doing it. This is actually coming up from the ingest serve. Should have given me suggestion. We can import serve, and this comes up from ingest, but not only just ingest, but ingest the express. You can see we have edge, we have experimental and express. Edge is mostly we'll use probably in the Next.js or something like that. We are just on the express. So this is required. So we can see we have the serve. Yes, that's the one we need. Once we have the serve, then we have to grab the client as well. Remember ingest client that we worked on earlier with this? It is exactly same. If you forgot, it's somewhere here, not in the function. This is the client. So this is the ingest what we need. So I'll go into the index.js again, and we'll grab this. And we're going to grab both of the functions as well as ingest. So import ingest. It's not the capital one, it's the lowercase one. Not going to suggest me. Oh, just suggested. We'll go inside the ingest and we have client.js. We'll also need both of the functions to be imported because they are also required in the homepage, in the middleware at least. So we'll see that we will use on user, no suggestions, sign up. That will come from one same directory, ingest. We have functions, and there we have on signup.js. All right, hopefully I call this the same. Just to verify again, doesn't hurt much. On signup, on user signup, copy this, go on to index.js, paste this one here. This is exactly what we need. Do the same thing, go on to on create, grab this one, go to index.js, duplicate this, grab this one will be coming up from /on ticket create.js. The way how you configure this middleware is just like this. We have this method serve, and again this is also given in the docs. This is a method which requires you objects, and when you pass on this, first of all pass on the client. Our client is ingest. This is the one. And what are all the functions you might invoke? So function, don't do this. Functions, yeah, this is the one. And here you pass on array, just mention all of them. So on user signup, order doesn't really matter in this case. On ticket created, that is it. So this is the piece of code that you have to write to make sure that all of them are invoking, but we're not done yet. Just one last thing. Don't you worry on that part, it's super easy. So we have package.json. This is where you run the nodemon index.js. It will work fine once I add my environment variables. Since we have built the application, we know that it works. We also need to have one more script. Feel free to name this whatever you like. Most of the documentation that they use the ingest dev. So this is the ingest dev server. And in order to work on this, you have to run the script npx, because we need to install ingest -cli. You can use latest, but in the production, I'll not use the latest, definitely, and dev. This is the script you have to run, and you have to run both of this. So this also needs to execute, this also needs to execute into a separate server, and that is it. That is it, all it needs. So make sure you fill up your environment variables. I'll give you this one as well, and I'll fill them up. If there is a minor mistake or something, it might be just a typo. I'll give you the source code entirely, which we worked on. It works pretty nicely and everything. And this is it. All the backend part is done. Now all we need to do is just the front end part, which is nothing much more. We just have to catch all the fetch requests, the API calls. That is it. That is all what we have. Let's go ahead and catch up in the next one. All right, so moving on to the front end part. So we have worked on all the backend, all the concepts, all the logics are done. From here onwards, we'll be just handling the APIs. That's it. No logic, nothing, just pure makes an API call, get some data, display the data, that's it. I had to fix a couple of bugs. I will walk you through where did I made the mistakes. You also need to know about them. So I filled up all of my environment variables and everything. And after that, let me show you what it really means. So for the front end, we'll be using the classic vite itself, but here comes the interesting part. So you need to run, first of all, the server, which we declared as an ingest server. That was okay. The only problem that I got is, first of all, I forgot to import the .env. So I'm pretty sure you might have noticed that already. These two lines of code, that is it. This was in the index.js, and apart from this, I'll close my environment variables. Don't want you to see up. Another thing that I saw a couple of places error is like it didn't included the extension .js. This one also missed the .js. So wherever I missed the .js, that was the problem. Apart from that, everything worked seamlessly. We have built the project. So this was the basics of it. I'll just close this one, close others, and this one as well. So this is the first part of it. Let's go ahead and create the second part of it. I guess I can open up the integrated terminal just right up here and just start a new one. And let's see. For getting started in the vite, nobody remembers the command, so I'll just go ahead and copy this and paste this up here. Let's hit enter. What's the project name? I'll call this one as AI Ticket Frontend. Frontend, that seems okay name. And we want to use vanilla or React. Of course, don't want to write vanilla JS in this case. We'll use the React, and we'll use the React router. We can use 10 stack router as well, but don't want to use it in this tutorial. I'll go with the React router, so that would be okay. And let's go with that. Want to proceed? Yes, of course I want to proceed. So this is going to take a bit time. Now, apart from this, we didn't saw any problem or anything. Want to initialize a new Git repository? No, not right now. Install dependencies with npm? Yes, I would love to do that. Hopefully that will make sense. Oh, it's taking a bit time. Looks like I'm in a habit of using bun. That is ridiculously fast. And that is it, I guess. Dependencies installed. Everything looks okay. I will open this up into an integrated terminal, and we'll call this one as simply frontend. So let me go ahead and change this to frontend. That looks better now. All right, so this is okay, but this is too much of the things that it has given me. I don't want, although this is bare minimum, but it has routes and all of these things. Just give me a second. I'll do a fresh installation. Don't like this one. I'll just delete this, and this time I'll not create with the this one. So I'll just go ahead and say the frontend, copy this, remove this, vite latest. We'll just go start with this project name, AI Ticket dash frontend. We'll go with React. We'll go with classic JavaScript. Yeah, this is what I want. Where have you added and started all of this? I guess nowhere. Just give me a second, I'll fix this. All right, got it. And you might be wondering, hey Tesh, you are making mistakes. This is how real world development works. So this is being created. I can see this is all going on up. I don't know why the errors are there, but whatever is the reason, we'll just go ahead and open up the integrated terminal. Just inside this, too many folders that we have, too many terminals that we have. Let's rename this again and call it as front end. Probably I'll change the colors as well. Change color, magenta. Yeah, that's good. Let's do a quick ls. We have everything. npm install. Everything should be installed into this one. Looks good already. I don't know why this is giving me this red dot. I'll probably reload the window. Yeah, that's good. All right, so we have the source and everything. We need to now worry on the routing part. So for the routing, we will manually install the React Router DOM. Let's go on to Google. React Router DOM, and let's see, and let's configure. It's actually super easy to configure, just like the 10 stack as well. Go to the docs, and we want installation. And we want to have the manual installation. All right, installing data mode, routing, installation. Let me go ahead and find the URL. They have changed the doc literally quite a lot, but no worries. We'll just have the React Router DOM up here, and we'll start with that. Apart from this, we'll also go with the Daisy UI, which is actually pretty fun and easy. So we'll use this one. how to use. Why can't you give me things like this? So let's go ahead and install this Daisy UI. Let's open up the package.json so that we can see what's all going on. And not worried about the dev dependency, but Daisy actually goes in the dev dependency. And then we have to import the Tailwind CSS in the app.cs. We have to say plugin Daisy UI. So let's go ahead and say app.css, copy this. And inside the source, we have app.css. Probably we can remove all of the things. We will do that. But as of now, we just need the plugin to be added. And what else we need to do? I want vite actually. So create vite temp, don't want template. And we need to install all of these things as well. So let's go ahead and install this. And then we'll actually install the plugin here. I did wrong, shouldn't I? Follow the documentation, that's how things works. All right, and then we have to say plugin is going to be Tailwind CSS. This is inside the vite config. So vite config. Plugin is React. Should I add it before or after? That's the question. I guess I'll add it afterwards. Okay, so Tailwind CSS, and we need to import the Tailwind. Otherwise, it will not work. Looks good. Apart from this, we need style.css. These things needs to be imported and configured. So this one technically is going to be index.css, I guess. Let's check. Let me quickly go ahead and check this. Let's add this style.css. We will have just one file, so let's just copy this. All right, enough of looking into the docs. Let's configure the things the way we want it to be. So we don't want app.css. We'll keep the main.jsx. We'll not keep the app.css. So let's go ahead and just remove it. Yeah, now this is the time where you actually go ahead and we'll keep the index.css. We'll remove everything and we'll paste it just like this, just the two lines. Main.jsx will come on to this one. App will load up here, but we'll not load the app. We'll actually use the React router DOM. And the app.jsx right now, you'll just go away and delete this. Surely this will crash the app, but that's okay. I'm fine with this. Assets, we don't have anything inside the assets. Now let's go ahead and install the React router DOM as well. In the package.json, we don't have React router DOM. Let's go ahead and install this. So npm install React router DOM. Should be easy. Now, once we have React router DOM, what we can do, the easiest way of handling this is go into the main.jsx and we'll keep the create root and all of these things same. Strict mode and create root, but we are going to inject the React router DOM just right here. All right, so how we're going to achieve this part? Let's remove the app and we will import the browser router. So let's first go ahead and say browser router. Yep, that's the one we want. Now inside the browser router, every route will go. So I'll just have the routes. Yep, that's the one. And there we go. I need to move this away. So there we go. So each of the routes that we are going to have will have the route further inside it. So we're going to have a route from React router DOM, and this will be a self-closing one, just like this. Now inside each of this, we have to define a path. Yep, that's the one. This will be a path of slash, but which element we are going to load will depend on whether user is logged in or not. So we need to have multiple of these pages first before we even do that. So let's go into the source and create a new folder. We'll just create a basic pages. Let's call this one as pages. And inside the pages, I can open up an integrated terminal because that will be faster for us. Let's go ahead and say touch, and we want to create an admin.jsx. We also need login.jsx. We need signup.jsx. And what else we need? Ticket page. So ticket.jsx. And we need tickets.jss. Tickets.jsx. All right. So all of these pages needs to be created. And we're going to do RFCE in all of them. So this will be admin, again RFCE. This is login. You might be thinking we are speed running this, and you are absolutely correct. This is how everybody builds frontend, at least people who love backend. All right, so index.js. All right, so all of our pages are now available for us so that we can actually go and see that what element you want to load. So on the home path, user should be able to see the element of tickets. But for this, we need to create that, hey, somebody needs to check whether user is authenticated or not. And for that also, we need to create kind of a bare minimum component, which will be check auth. So let's go ahead and say, instead of pages, let's create one more file, which will be not file actually, the folder. We'll keep everything inside components. And we will have one new file, which is going to be check auth.jsx. So RFCE. So this is going to be the component which will be responsible for checking the authentication. And no, it doesn't work with dashes. Check auth, copy this, paste this. It will take the children, and based on that, whether it is allowing or not, we'll do these kinds of things. So everything will mount inside this. So if you have studied React from me or anywhere else, you pretty much know this part. It's super easy. So we're going to load this component inside the element. Element. Nope. Why are you showing the error? You don't need this. Yeah, you are prop. Element, yep. So element that we are going to load will look like this. So we'll have this check auth. Come on. Reload this again. Check. It's not going to import this automatically. Why are you making my life harder? Import check auth. Should be an uppercase one. Copy this, paste this, and go into main.js, check auth. Now it will be giving us check auth. There we go. This is going to be just a wrapper. Now the magic of this wrapper is that you can just pass on a prop here, which says protected. As of now, it is not doing anything, but eventually it will do in the future. So don't worry on that part. So protected is true. And what component you want to load here is going to be ticket. All right, this is the one. Come on, bring the tickets. Have you brought in the tickets? I guess not. Import tickets. Oh, all of them are lowercase. I need to fix this. Tickets. And this is the one that we'll be loading. No worries, we'll go and fix all of them. These kinds of mistakes you need to see. So admin needs to be admin. We'll copy this, paste this, save this. Login needs to be login. And sign up needs to be sign up. Oops. Ticket need to be ticket. Tickets also needs to be tickets. All right. Now we can come back here. This can be tickets. And there we go. So now we load this, and there will be another route just like this. So we can just copy paste this now. Hard part is done. This will again be slash tickets slash colon ID. So somebody is requesting the ID. The element is protected is true, and we are loading is the ticket page, or rather accurate would be ticket. We can just get a single ticket, or you can go inside this and call this as ticket details page. This is the refactoring you do on the go. Copy this, go up into this, ticket details page, ticket details page. Looks better. Now let's go ahead and fix up the login routes as well. We're gonna copy this, paste this. We don't need a path like this. We just need a login. And protected is going to be false in this case. And this will be simple login. There we go. Looks good. Let's go ahead and copy paste for the sign up. It looked really tough at first, but now you're seeing the pattern. Oh, this is, I know, sign up. This will be false. And the component that we are going to load is sign up. There we go. We need one more for admin, I guess. Yep, we haven't added the admin. So there we go. We'll just call this one as /admin. This one needs to be protected. So true. And this one will be admin. There we go. So all the pages are now loaded. I hope you can see the similarity what we have done. So we have created just the fake pages. They don't work as of now. They will eventually. And we have created a component which also doesn't work, but this will be responsible for checking our auths. And in the main.js, the React Router DOM comes up and says, hey, you will have multiple of these routes. In each one of them, you will have the route. So / will go to the tickets if you are logged in, and /ticket/ID. If you are logged in, you can only go there. And we can decide the logic that where he needs to go or log in or wherever. We will decide that logic part into the check auth. Everything is wrapped up with the check auth. Every component we load only and only after checking the authentication. So this is the part login. You don't need any protected for this. Sign up, you don't need any protection for that. And admin, you also don't need any protection on that part. Now let's go ahead and see that how this check auth actually works. This is super easy again to work. These kinds of component usually, not usually, almost always takes children. Children are nothing. Whenever the children are there, it just means we are building an outer wrapper and somebody needs to render the component inside it. We will also receive this. I'll copy this, otherwise I'll make mistake. This protected as well, or we can call this as protected routes as well. Means one or the same thing. We'll call this one as protected route. So somebody gives us this protected route information based on true or false. Now here we are going to use a couple of things. First of all, let's use navigate, come on. And this will come up from a hook, use navigation, which comes from React Router DOM, use navigate. Through this, we will be able to push the user on to different pages. We also need a state because I want to show the loading state. We won't be doing any fancy animation, but still at least a text message of loading. For this, we'll be using use state from React itself. The default state will be true because you are loading right now. After that, as soon as this component loads, so that means I want to use effect hook. That's what it does. The whole job of use effect hook is to give you two things. One, what you want to do and when you want to do it. So this is what you want to do. This will happen at least one time when the component load. But if you want it to be done by something else, just you pass on these dependency array or dependency list of when something happens. So what is that dependency? First of all, if anything changes in navigate, I definitely want to change. If anything changes into protected route, I definitely want to rerun this, checking that whether all okay or not. So this use effect hook, what it's going to do is, first of all, it's going to take the tokens from the local storage. Yes, as soon as users sign up or login, we are storing that token into the local storage. We're not using cookies. It's not my favorite way, but for this application, it's okay. So we are going to go ahead and say local storage dot get item, and the name of the item is token. We will store this into a variable, call this as token. All right. Now, once this is done, we'll check that whether the protected is required or not. So protected route. So if it is a protected route, that means it is true. So then we need to again do a check. It is a protected route and you don't have a token. If it is a protected route and you don't have a token, you should logged in. That makes sense. So we'll just go ahead and say navigate, where I want you to navigate to /login, login. All right. What else? Else means you have the token. So what we're going to do is, in that case, we are going to go ahead and say set loading, and we're going to mark it as false. No need for loading now. All right, there could be another case that if it is protected route, and there could be a case if it is not the protected route. So for example, login and stuff like that. So in that case, we'll again check. If you have token, you should not access my login page. So these pages are something which are not protected, but you have token. That means you have already logged in. You should not see my sign up or login page. You should be redirected back. So in this case, I'll say navigate back to the slash, and automatically you'll be on the tickets page. And in the else case, we are going to say set loading. That will be false. There we go. So this is my logic. Finally, I have a state based on which I can go ahead and check. So the only job that I'll do is I'll remove this one because I don't need this. I've done all the checking. So if there is a state of loading, then we are going to go ahead and say like this, return a simple div that says loading. Loading always comes with 3 dots. It looks cool. And if it is not loading, then we are going to simply return the children. The whole point of returning the children is whatever the route you provide me, whether that's ticket ID, whatever, we just load that up. So we don't do any kind of loading and all these things. So notice here how smartly we have actually used a state, a token, and based on the redirection, we have figured out that, hey, where you should go. So this is how it works. This is truly the logic of how the authentication is being checked. And again, in the world of Next.js, we do it through the middleware. Here we are doing it manually, but manually looks okay to me and actually looks good. All right, so this is good. Now all we got to do is work on to sign up, login, all of these pages. All right, quite good for this section. And it was a little hicky section, but I think you now understand how the real world development works. And this is the beautiful part of the entire tutorial. Let's catch up in the next section. All right, so one of the part where I truly enjoy the AI taking over the things is once I've done the logic part and when the UI just needs to loop through, I sometimes tend to use AI for that. But again, no worries on that part. I'll still walk you through all the details of it. And by the way, in case you are worrying that, hey, why this is getting too many of the squiggly line, it will get it in a minute or so. This is because it is expecting Vite that, or especially React Router DOM, that you should be working in the TypeScript. And if you open this up, you're going to notice this, especially types. There is somewhere here. This is the types. This is something that is going to give you red squiggly line. You can totally ignore that. That's just your prettier or maybe your anything that is checking just the types for that. So no worries on that part. We'll first go ahead and close all of this thing because we don't need any of them. Let's start with the sign up. This is where I'll walk you through the details of how this is being done. We will do the less of the UI part because that's just input form and you have to take the value, but no worries, it will be available in the source code. Don't you get scared of that part. All right, so let's see that on the front side, we'll bring up the use navigate hook. Use navigate. All right, and now in the sign up, we'll first of all need a form in which we'll store the state of email as well as password. So this will be our form, set form, form and set form. This will be use state email, which will be initially empty. Password will also be the same. Password will also be the same. All right. We'll have the loading state as well. Loading, set loading, and that will be use state, just like that. Initially it will be false, super easy. After that we'll have a navigate, not navigate, navigate, that will come up from use navigate, just like that. There we go. So this is the basics preparation of it. We will have a method. So anytime a form is being changed, we'll create a method of handle change, which will give us an event, and based on the event, we can change it. Pretty basic. If you have studied anytime React, we always do it like this: handle change, which will receive an event. And based on the event, I can just go ahead and set the form. And what value will I add in the form? First of all, I'll spread it out, the form. Then whatever the value is getting changed, I can find that by e.target.name will be set to e.target.value. All right, pretty good, pretty good. Okay, so this is the basic part of it. This is going to be done. Now, how we are going to handle the sign up? This is where the magic comes up, and this is where we are going to pretty much kind of a copy paste logic. It goes up there, and we'll say handle sign up. And for this, we are going to go ahead and say async. We'll receive an event, and we'll just go like this. First of all, e.prevent suggestion, please. No suggestions for me. Prevent default, so that it doesn't try to submit the form anywhere. The set loading needs to be true because we are performing something. And after that, my favorite, as you know, try catch block. Now, before we go with the try catch block, we surely can do that. We would love to set an environment variable here also. So inside this, create a new file. We'll call this one as .env. And this one will be vite underscore server underscore URL. Depends on where you are running your backend. We'll just say http://localhost. You can set up proxies as well in case you know about them. 3000/API. So this is where the basics of all requests will go. Make sure you prefix this with the vite server. Not server is important, vite underscore is actually important. Otherwise, you won't be able to fetch this one. Now, once this is being done, then all you got to do is you can use Axios, you can use 10-stack query, whatever you wish to have. We'll use the classic fetch request in itself. So in the fetch, we'll use the backticks. And what we want to do is $, and we want to use this one, import dot meta dot env dot vite server URL. This is how you import environment variable. We don't load anything, nothing like that. Vite doesn't work like that. After that, we have /auth, we have /signup. That is it. That is all it takes. But since this is a post request, we have to provide more options, just like that. And the first one is going to be method. Yep, that's the one. And the method that we are using is post. We have to set some headers as well. Headers. And the headers are going to be like this. Content dash type. Make sure you type it very carefully. I have debugged a lot of applications where I do typos. Like this. Application/JSON. This is must have required. After that, we need to send the body as well. And in the body, we will take the JSON dot stringify the form. That is all it takes to take this request. And once this request is going on, let's wait for it. So await, and let's get the response back just like that. So once we have the response back, now we want to fill this data. So we can just store this as a data. What it's going to be giving you back, you can store that into a state as well. That is totally okay. Or you can store that into the local storage. Or if you're using some state management like zoostand, Redux Toolkit, whichever is your favorite, you can just go with that. I will say await res.json, just like that, and we'll store that into data, just like that. Feel free to store that in the state or whatever you like. Now, what I want to do is I want to check whether the response was okay. If the response was okay, I would like to store that into a local storage. Simple for me. I'll say res.ok. If that's the case, I will invoke local storage. I will set item. The name of the item will be token. The value will be data.token because I know the token is going to come up. Another thing that we can go ahead and store into this is we can say user if you want to store that. And we can say JSON.stringify again. Data.user because local storage doesn't store JSON. I wish it would. It would be life so much easier, but it doesn't. And we will just go ahead and say navigate the user to slash. That is it. And in the else case, oh, that's important. So if response is not okay, we will just go ahead and say alert. Don't want to use alert, but we don't want to install further packages into this simple application. So I'll use this one. Or we can simply say sign up failed. And we can actually catch the error just like this. Alert, sign up, something went wrong. Hate this error, but still I put this. And in the finally block, just like this, we can say set loading to be false. So anyways, we are setting the loading false. Now after this, whatever you return is just a sign up form. I'll give you directly the sign up form, no worries on that part. But this is all the logic. This is all the thing that you have to do. Now the best part about this is I can come here, click here, and I can click till here, and I can copy this. Literally, I can copy this whole thing, go into my login form, just come back here, just do like that. Use navigate doesn't exist. No worries, I can bring that up. I'll copy this and I will bring it up here. So here also we are doing the same thing. We are actually holding the email and password only. We have the loading state, navigate. So we'll just say set form, only values. Handle login would be better in this case. So I'll just go ahead and call this one as handle login. Apart from that, doesn't really matter even if you call it with the same name, but not a good idea. The only thing that changes up is you make a request to login. That is it. Vite server URL /auth/login. We provide the form. We do exactly same. We store the local storage. We get the user. Everything literally is same. In the GitHub section, you will find the form as well. It's super easy. No big deal there. Just goes like that. And this thing is actually so much so easy that you can now exactly copy paste into the admin as well, in the ticket as well, and in the ticket.js as well. Hope you have enjoyed this section. It was pretty easy. I will give you a walkthrough of rest of the things as well, but this is how exactly it takes. No big deal there. Just make a request, get the data, store that into your store, either Zustand or whatever you're using, or just local storage, and just take the data, loop through it. If you don't know how to take the data and loop through and display things in the React, you're watching a wrong tutorial. You should be watching my React series where I in-depth discussed all of these things. Let's catch up in the next video. Alright, so welcome to the final section of this video where I'll just give you a walkthrough of what we are doing. The process is exactly same. Just like we have handled the sign up and login, we collected some data in the form and then we simply go ahead and send this data to the backend API request, get the data and store that data in local storage, Zustand, whatever you like, and this is how we do it. So in this video, I'll give you a brief walkthrough of how we are handling rest of the pages because the logic is all done. It's just a matter of now don't fall into the tutorial hell. Try to do things on your own. That's how you learn programming. I will give you the whole source code as well. I'll still give you a walkthrough of what's remaining part of it, but I highly recommend to add at least 1 or 2 features on your own and try to finish this project with more features. That is the only way to learn programming. Most of the people at this point, they want everything to be finished. Surely it is all finished. It's all in the GitHub. But the goal is to write code on your own with your own thinking. And if you're missing that, you're not learning programming, to be honest. So let me walk you through with this. So I'll take you onto the pages that we have already done. So notice here the sign up logic that we have written is exactly same. We have the handle sign up, handle change. We have the sign up part. This is all we have seen and written together. All we are doing same. After this, what's come up is this part. So we have handle sign up, which is written on the form. We have this input field, which has the form.email as a value and handle change. Same goes for the password. And we simply submit it. How difficult was it? Now, surely the form controls and all these things, CSS, this is not a tutorial for this. So you get the idea. Same goes for the login as well. Notice here, if I come back here, it's exactly same. Handle login, the input field, a copy of the input field again, same goes there. Now, if you want to go ahead and see all the tickets, again, we are setting up a form to see all the tickets. We create a method for fetch tickets. And we load this fetch ticket on the use effect. That means I want to initially load it as soon as the page loads. In here, we simply send a request on tickets. which is a GET request. It gives me all the data. I hold them into a variable, and then I simply loop through it. If looping through the values sounds, oh, this is too much for me, then surely you need to work a little bit more. This is the only piece of code that you should be worried. This piece. Yeah, from here to here. That is it. Look at this. We take a link. We simply extract the key. Then we simply put the key to some variable or some link. Here we simply say ticket.title, ticket.description, created at, that is it. Yeah, literally that is it. Similarly, in the admin page, whatever the admin endpoints we have created, we just simply mark for them. For example, this is auth/users to get all the users. We have this handle edit click, which simply does nothing. It just handles the update, the roles and everything. We have the handle update, which simply says update user. We send the request there, get all of this data, and that is it. So if this is too much for you, definitely you should watch my series, or on my Udemy course, I have a full in-depth of the React going on. This is like too boring, too basics, but still I'm giving you all the pages and everything. And once again, I mentioned, don't worry about this node modules. This is just mentioning that, hey, why are you not using types? Because I'm in JavaScript, not in TypeScript. Don't worry, that's okay. So this application is now completely in the working format. You also get an idea of how it is working, why it is happening. We focused entirely in this application more on the logical part, which is the most important part of it. Logic simply means how you can build AI apps. Not just AI apps, you learned how to build the background workers. You also learned how to work with the agentic frameworks, one of the best agentic frameworks that we have. We have also learned how we can work multiple pipelines of the things. And trust me, this whole thing, people build a course around it, and for really long hours, more than 40, 30 hours of the course. But what I've tried down here is shrinking down the knowledge as much as precise as possible and give you enough of the confidence that whenever anything task like that comes to you, you can replicate this code as it is and can build enormous application. I will bring more such applications and more such knowledgeable videos in the future as well. So in case you haven't checked out my channel, go ahead and check out Hitesh Code Lab. Subscribe to that, and I will definitely bring more to that. If you happen to speak Hindi as well, go ahead and check out my other channel, Chai or Code, which is also pretty fun. That is it for this video. Hope you have enjoyed this. Please leave a comment and a thumbs up. I really look forward to all the comments that comes up. Whenever I wake up, I look at them, and this actually makes my day. So consider this as my small feast for this video. That is it for this one. Let's catch up in the next one.